Call the meeting to order of the Hubbardston Select Board on Monday, May 4th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. Reminder to those of you who are here, we are being digitally or recorded, so that everybody please be respectful of each other as you are speaking and as you are listening to each other. Is there anyone here for open session, excuse me? Yes, would you just give us your name and address here?
Street Road.
Okay. Go ahead, you have the floor.
I'm here as a trustee for the library. I've been assigned the job of submitting our capital improvement request. So I submitted it in December, but I didn't hear anything back. So I recently sent the email again, and I asked the town administrator or the chair to acknowledge receipt of the email. And I have not got a reply to the email. So then I called the past 3 weeks and I spoke with Christina, and she kept telling me she would tell Sean I called and that someone would call me back, but nobody's called me back. So I just want to know if anybody received my email.
Yes, I did receive it. I apologize. I will be happy to schedule some time to meet with you tomorrow. I have been busy with getting a number of department heads together, but I also met with your library director and we did talk about your request, and certainly, apologize for not getting right back.
It's not the lower level stuff.
Yes, no, she did tell me that you had some
Okay.
requests that we had to go over.
And does anybody know when the capital improvement committee will be meeting? Mel told me they hadn't. I called her today. She said they hadn't met for the past year. I don't know. Nothing's on the website.
I have no idea what we are on that.
I will follow up with the chair of the finance committee and I'll see if we can get a meeting scheduled to go over the capital request.
I just don't want it to get lost. I want it to be on the list. That's it.
Sure. We will make sure it gets on the list.
All right.
Yeah, usually this year's been a little wonky due
Yeah.
to overturn and change and things. Normally the capital improvement is over the winter, the same with the finance, and then to work with the budget and to kind of go in a flow. But this year's flow has been a little unflowy. Just put it,
Interrupt.
yes, it's been interrupted. So we all apologize for that, but yeah, I did see the email that last one that you sent out.
I
did
just
see
wanted
that.
someone to reply. I got it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
It's hard when you put too many of us on. We've been trained, you can't reply to all because then it creates a quorum.
Well, it didn't start.
Yes, no, I understand. Yeah.
All right, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else here for open session? Okay. Katie, we'll move to you.
All right, we got good stuff. Just in case you didn't know, real estate taxes are due today for fourth quarter, I believe. Fourth quarter. Well, it's today's the day. Okay, you can,
Thank you.
you're giving you heads up. So yeah, if you didn't get them in, I'm pretty sure you can still pay them online at home without any problems. This coming up weekend, we have lots of things going on. So the Hubbardston BSA Troop 22 Boy Scouts are having a car wash over at the police station from 9 to noon. $10 any size car. You drive it on through, and they usually have some good brushes and stuff, and they'll hose it all off and get all that gross, disgusting pollen off. So go swing by and see them. There's also a plant sale at the First Meeting House. It's a fundraiser, 9 to 2. They'll have lots of different types of outdoor plants. Great to find something to plant for mom. But again, that's from 9 to 2 at the First Meeting House, and it is a fundraiser. And then Plainview Farm has a spring fling from 10 to 3 at the same time. So if you also need something good for Mother's Day, that's an excellent place to go find a Mother's Day gift at Plainview. There's lots of crafters and handmade artisans down there. The annual Kids Fishing Derby is also this Saturday. Goodness, there's like so much going on. 8 a.m. it starts at the Rod and Gun. You can register in advance. You can go to the Rod and Gun website, and there's information there. You can give them a call. But again, that's this Saturday. All 4 of those are this Saturday. Let's see, the next thing we have up is Mayhem on May 16th at the Rod and Gun. It's a live music event. They'll have pool, darts, and cornhole, and it starts at 5 PM. And that again is May 16th. The Rod and Gun on the 17th is also having a indoor yard sale from 8 to 2. You can contact them to sign up for an indoor spot. Memorial Day Parade is 5:25, Memorial Day. Step off will be around 11-ish. We haven't set a final time, but we're getting there. Town meeting is June 1st at 7 PM at Hubbardston Center School. The Hubbardston Fair is June 6th from 9 to 2 with a rain day of June 7th. That is at the rec field. I have a ridiculous amount of vendors this year. It's gonna be a good one. Definitely don't miss that one. Town elections are June 9th from 7 AM to 8 PM at Hubbardston Center School. And the Lions are doing a boot drive on June 14th from 8 to 2. And it's gonna be on Main Street, and they do have a rain day just in case, and that is 6/28. And that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other announcements to be made at this point? Okay, I'm going to jump over the school and go right to your request, because I don't think it's gonna take long. And where don't want you to have to sit through everything.
Thank you.
Basic. So I will go to the request of the update of the bandstand on the part of the Lions, if you'd like to
Yes,
tell us, start.
the Hubbardston Lions Club, is petitioning the town to let us rework the bandstand. What we'll be doing is one section of the rail between the 2 posts going up, to hold the roof up. We'll take that one section out, take it off-site, rework it, replace any wood or anything that needs to be done. Paint it, bring it back and put it in. Take the next one out, we're going to also put a temporary handrail in so that no one has to worry about some child going up there and falling off or something like that while we're off-site working that section. There's also some brickwork by the entranceway going underneath, where we're going to be replacing some bricks that have fallen off for one reason or another. But that's what,
Is this, excuse me, the brickwork where, by the stairway?
by the ramp going
Going down
down
underneath.
underneath.
Oh, okay, I got you, I'm with you. Yep.
Yeah.
With the bottom
There's
and
an
everything.
area there
Yeah.
that's all, the bricks are all gone,
Yeah.
so we're gonna replace those, make it look nice and pretty for the town. And then we're, the power washing the whole thing and finish painting all the bandstand before it's done.
Also, it's gonna get a nice fresh paint job completely.
Yep.
Nice.
So that's the project that's we wanna do.
Mhm.
Being we turned it over to you and the town, we wanna make sure it's all right with the town if we go ahead and do that.
So, basically, that's all they're looking for, is we are for it or
Yeah.
not. Somebody, anybody have any comments? Chris,
Yeah.
I know you're lying, but do you have anything you want to say about it?
No, I think Doc did a great job explaining what we're gonna do and spruce it up and make it nice, so it lasts for another 100 years.
Okay,
You want a motion?
Peter, you have anything? You okay?
Just a motion.
Okay, yes,
It was-
please.
Before
it was
the
brought-
motion,
Excuse me, it was brought to my attention by Christina here that, I may need to go see the building inspector. I don't know, I'm gonna call him, make an appointment, go see him, tell him exactly what we're doing, if he wants to see what we're doing. I'll let him see what we're doing,
Mhm.
you know, what has to be done, and see if I need a building permit or not.
Then make the motion pending to, we're in favor of the pending to the.
Doc, I actually did, reach out to the building commissioner, and it sounds like you're just doing a little bit of cosmetic maintenance, not doing anything structural.
No.
And so, you don't really need a building permit if you're just, doing a little bit of maintenance, repairing, doing some pointing on the brick and just polishing up. So I don't want you to worry about a permit. If, he goes down and somebody gives you a hard time, you can let them know that you talked to the, TA. So
Okay,
you're good to go.
all right, great.
Okay,
As a member in good standing of the Hubbardston Lions Club, I'm gonna recuse myself from this.
understand, okay?
All right, I'd like to make a motion to totally accept the proposal that Doc has presented on behalf of the Lions to make the bandstand again.
Motion made
Second.
and second. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none,
Just want to make sure everyone understands, there will, only time the public will not be able to use the bandstand when we're power washing and painting it.
Mhm.
All other times it will be available. So,
okay. All in favor? Yes, opposed, abstain.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Thank the Lions.
Have a good night.
I just didn't like to sit through everything.
Yeah, wow.
Now, we will, go to item 4, the regional school district budget. We have the superintendent here, so however you're comfortable going through or presenting this.
We're gonna talk a little bit about Hubbardston Center School. So I'm calling Mohan Superintendent Quabbin. This is Allison Pelletier. She's our new business administrator at Quabbin. She's been with us since October. Okay, so a while. There you go. So I thought I gave you a little one pager. I think you always are interested to know, what's kind of happening in your own little school there. And I know many of your kids are older now, so I thought I'd give you a quick little look. But that photo is from one of our school-wide concerts that we had a few weeks back. So you see the students performing there. And then I wanted to give you a bit of a look at the numbers. So this is the anticipated enrollment for the Hubbardston Center School for next school year. We run 2 half-day preschool classes in Hubbardston. They total about 33 students. In kindergarten, we're anticipating, we had 32 students fill out the census, but some of those students, one will be going to our autism program at Ruggles Lane. A couple other students may be homeschooled, and another one has a sibling in private school right now, so we're not sure what they're gonna do. So I put in parentheses that it could drop down to 26 students. And the reason this is significant is because Hubbardston has always had 2 classes, a grade level for the past several years. This would be possibly a time where if we reduce by that many students, we might just have 1 kindergarten classroom at Hubbardston Center School. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. You can see that the other grade levels hold pretty steady. First grade with 40 students, second grade 44, third 43, fourth grade 47, fifth grade 41.
Calling these a one class?
2 classes.
Two, all right, that's what, that's what I was asking.
Yep, right now.
That's a little-
So we're gonna be watching that kindergarten closely. And as you may or may not know, but enrollment over the summer can really fluctuate. Hubbardston's always been one of our steadier communities with our school numbers, so I was really kind of surprised to see the K number. I anticipated climbing back up, but I figured I'd give you a little bit of a heads up as, we work.
Does that include any school choice
It
kids? or
does not. No, those are just Hubbardston students in that kindergarten class. Yeah.
Because that's a big number to have 1 classroom of
Yeah.
that age group.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
It's like, oh, yeah.
So then I just wanted to share a few celebrations. So if you haven't been around Hubbardston lately, some of the things that make them special are our kids and our staff. Mrs. Doyle, who maybe had some of your kids when they were in elementary school, is retiring this year. I had a picture of her because she had a shirt on that says like, Final Tour or something. But I couldn't get it to upload. We also run, our second grade teachers run a mystery reader program. Some of you may have been invited into their classrooms. They give away clues as to who their special reader is, and then you read to their students. We have a very strong and active PTO at Hubbardston. We're really thankful for that because they run a lot of programs that we couldn't basically afford to run. They run all kinds of fun nights and different things like that. It is a school that implements our community building PBIS program, which is really about learning to be safe, respectful, and responsible for our students. And Hubbardston actually has the largest English learner population of all of our elementary schools. So that's just an interesting note, I know. We still do our library trips, and that's a great partnership with our community. We're hosting Farm Day. That's coming back after a little hiatus. We're quite excited about that. At this point, we have purchased all of our new updated curriculum, mostly through grants that got us started with that. And we do have some special programming in the ways of our specials, art, PE, music, and we have a STEM special that really focuses on science, technology, engineering, and math. And then I just gave you some data points for your population right now, but about 24% of the students at Hubbardston Center School are students with low-income students, and about 20% of the students are students with disabilities. So I think that's just helpful for you to know, as each year those numbers tend to change a little bit. So any questions about Hubbardston Center School? Okay, so then we've been doing budget presentations since our first of January. And we've had to make several different iterations. One thing that's a little bit more challenging for us this year is that the town of Barry is holding their annual town meeting May 19th. So we had to get them their final budget numbers. Well, I mean, we have to get you your assessment by a certain point. That's true for them as well. But this week, the Senate is still in session. We're anticipating Senate numbers to come out tomorrow. But thus far, it hasn't been super favorable for school districts, especially rural districts. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So we knew going into this year that it would be another challenging year because they did not work to change the Chapter 70 formula. I know a lot of you were with me last year when we invited our legislators in and we talked with them about great length about the challenges that our communities are facing. And about the challenges that school districts are facing. And we had a meeting recently with Representative Berthium, Representative Marcy, Senator Durant, and Representative Todd Smola. And we had really nice participation. As a matter of fact, Rosemary came from Hubbardston. She attended that session with us. And they promised to really advocate for rural school funding, and they did. However, many of our other representatives didn't support them in their requests or amendments. So we don't have a lot of really super favorable news around state funding for schools and especially regional rural schools. So again, it's just created a bit more of a challenge as we go along. So I think what we wanted to show, we feel like what you want to know is sort of, where are you at? Like, what are you doing to increase your revenues? What are you doing to decrease the budget and staffing and things like that? So we kind of put together a really short overview. I will send Sean the link to all of our budget proposals that you can share out with you so you can go through them with a fine-tooth comb. But basically, we are using a lot of revenue sources to offset our budget. So I think just starting with that might be helpful. So we had an FY25 transportation reimbursement receivable of $82,780. So we're using that to offset FY27 budget. We are using some investment income. So when Allison came into the district, she said, I just don't think we're getting enough interest on the money that we have in the bank. So she called our treasurer and she said, you need to see if you can, work us some higher interest rates. And so they did. So we're using about $60,000 of that money at this point. What you're seeing here on the top slide is the change from proposal 2 to proposal 3. That's why it says only 31,000.
So the 31 is 60.
It's really 60,000. Yep. Also, when the governor's budget came out, as you know, we're a hold harmless district. I'm just going to go over this really quickly, and I'm happy to dig deeper into it, but I think most of you understand it at this point, because we've been in hold harmless for 20 years in the Quabbin Regional School District. And that means that our enrollment is declining consistently. So when your enrollment declines, what the Chapter 70 formula says is we will give you the same amount of money you had the year before, but really no more, with the exception of this minimum aid. So as we've been in hold harmless for 20 years, you can imagine that that amount has not been really increased dramatically for us at all. So the governor had that minimum aid at $75 a student, and I want you to understand what that equates to us, for us. It's $140,000. It's helpful, but it doesn't cover, certainly doesn't cover our insurance increases. It doesn't cover the cost of our oil increases, different things like that. Last year, it made it all the way up to 150 per student. The House brought it up to 160. We are going to bank on it going to 150. We're not going to fully say the 160 yet, because as you know, the Senate can drop that down and then they have to go to conference committee. So we feel comfortable and confident going with the 150 per student.
And
So
what would
that-
that mean in terms of money for you?
About $280,000.
About 280?
Instead of 140. And if we get the extra $10 a student, it's gonna be another $20,000. Again, helpful, don't misunderstand me, but not life-changing. The other revenues that we're using are so from the earlier presentation, as you probably know, we have a ROTC program, and we do get some funding from the government for our ROTC program, so we're using that to offset. We're also using Medicaid reimbursement, so we get some reimbursement for our students that have medical needs. And so we're using that. It's actually on, maybe that's what I should have you go to. It's on the back, the last page here, and where it says district revenues on the second row down. So you'll see we're using 10,000 of our E&D for OPEB. We're using 750,000 of our E&D to reduce assessments. We're using the Medicaid reimbursement, the NJRTC, and the investment income that we just spoke about. Now we had a 1.2 certification of our E&D, and we're going to use $760,000 of that, which may seem like a lot of money. However, what I'd like to just sort of put out there is that E&D account is really for emergency should something happen. And one of the things that can and has happened to us in the past, and I'm sure, right now we're in process of an oil bid situation.
Bad time.
Bad time. We don't know where we're gonna land with that. And the other thing is special education. So this is a real live example. We really pride ourselves on offering a lot of in-district programs for our students with disabilities. And we are able to keep so many of our students here with us in our programs. We have a program for students with autism. We have therapeutic programs for our students with behavior challenges. We have life skills programs. We have our post-grad program. We have a language-based disabilities program. But we had a student that was with us that we're educating that had an episode where he injured a teacher. And so we had to say that we could no longer have the student in our schools and consider it a safe environment for the student. So we placed that student out at a substantially separate program. That student then had another incident. And so now there's a meeting that's going to be held, possibly placing that student in a more restrictive placement. Those placements can run us over $100,000. And in this case, and we have one student placement that is out of state that costs us over $200,000. That's why we really like to keep some money in that E&D fund. I mean, one of the many reasons why we're not using all of that. So I just wanted to be crystal clear about that. It's, we will use it, but that's the amount we feel kind of comfortable with, and we just don't feel like that's a gamble that we really want to take to decrease that E and D.
So what is the balance in the E and D fund?
1.2,
1.2, so you're taking it down by 750,
760,
760.
760, yep, yep.
Certainly, statutorily, every child deserves an adequacy of education and, certainly, really appreciate the challenge of balancing the budget. Hubbardston's in a similar position, we're struggling, trying to pinch every penny. We've got a $200,000 challenge in this year. I've looked at, your prior presentation, you looked at student population. Has Hubbardston students dropped by 20 have we had the largest drop in students? In the
You
district?
are down by 15 students. New Braintree is higher than you by 1 student, but you are down 15 students this year.
Okay, over the last 3 years, though, we're down by 20.
Braintree has
By
more students than
24 over
Hubbardston.
the last 3 years, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so,
Just this year.
so over the last 3 years, we have the largest drop in students.
Yeah.
It's just, obviously, it's becoming so difficult for school districts and municipalities to really balance our financial priorities. And, look at a budget as complicated as this, it really is hard to get into the details. Our proposed budget has, for this year, 550 additional line items to really try to figure out how we can track expenditures and really get a focus on making sure we budget exactly what we need. With that,
I feel like you want to say more.
I do. I know that there were some conversations with Barry about reducing the request down to 4%. Well, they're not, okay, I heard from a member of our finance committee that there may have been some conversations around that.
Our budget increase is at 4%, if that's what you're referring to. Maybe that's the conversation. Our proposed increase is 4.23% for our bottom budget. Is that what you're speaking about?
I think it's their assessment. Hubbardston's assessment is a 4.9% change from last year to this year.
Yep. So we did, we met with Barry FinCom and we met with Barry again today. They are aware of their assessment, and they're feeling okay. I mean, I can go through all the work that we did to get us to this place, and maybe help you understand. There are 20 positions that we have cut, since last year to this year. That is something, that we have taken very seriously. The year before, we reduced 9 positions, and the year before that, 5. So in 3 years, we've lost 34 staff members.
Excuse me, Colleen, for interrupting. So are those mainly administrative, or are we talking teachers?
So there are 6 teacher positions, as in academic classroom teachers. There are, I actually have a little cheat sheet, I'm sorry, I might as well bring it out. I want to give you this information. So there are 6 teacher staff positions. There are 2 specialized instruction positions. There are 2 support positions. There are 4 sub positions. There are 2 administrative service positions, but not principals. But when you think about potentially like secretarial support, things like that. So what am I at? 2, 2, 4,
14.
2, 2, 4. 12 and 4, that brings us to 16. Did I say 2 support staff? Oh, 2 special education and 1 building and grounds and 1 technology. So that takes us to.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
no, great question.
So may I?
Yes,
So I'm looking at proposed to, as in for at the cuts.
yep,
So the 2210 position, principal off, what is principal off?
principal office.
Principal off there. So those are features.
So what you're looking at,
So
I
is
think,
it, may I speak please? So move 2 positions to rural aid and 1 cut position. So in other words, you move 2 positions out of the principal's office, getting funding from rural aid, right?
yes, we don't consider those cuts. We're
You
just,
don't, but because they're not cuts.
they're not,
No,
and those are not in the 20 I talked about.
okay. And then 1 cut position.
Yep,
And then the next line is teachers, regular education. Cut 1 position, 1 open position. And then 2 filled positions. So it's really, and then, so one of the hired ones backfills the cut one, and so it's really you hired, right? Money ones,
money wise,
money.
right. So you have a teacher retiring. I'll give you a perfect
Yeah.
example to explain that. Mrs. Doyle is retiring in Hubbardston Center School.
Mhm.
But Ocam Center School is reducing a position by 1. We're gonna reduce the position at Ocam, but the person from Ocam is going to fill Mrs. Doyle's position instead of having to hire. But it is still a cut of 1 position.
A cut, but you still hire one to backfill the teacher that left.
Well, you're, no.
You
it's not.
transfer
Transferred from,
Ocam
yeah,
To where?
to Hubbard.
so monetarily it's still the same.
No,
Right.
nope, you're not filling OCAM.
So you cut 1 in OCAM,
They transferred a teacher
And you actually save,
who was on
and
salary
you
anyway.
fill.
Yeah, somebody that's already there.
it's complicated.
No,
But it,
I'm
well,
just not
it's
smart.
cheaper to move someone than it is to hire. and get-
Well, obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to do all the onboarding.
Yeah. And they're also, if somebody's retiring, they're probably a little bit higher up in pay too, compared to the person that isn't doing it. I could be wrong. I don't know any of these people's pay. I'm just saying, in theory. In theory, that's usually the way it works.
So that leads me into another question. So
Sure,
we're going on a 3-year decline in Hubbardston. Well, it's not only Hubbardston, I mean, some towns have gone up a little bit. But right now, the way the country is, people aren't having babies. And I think I've brought this up to you before. So I don't see, I mean, I see a continual decline happening here in the next 10 years. But the budget keeps going up. Student population keeps going down. So what's the fix for that?
yeah. Well, I think it's multifaceted. So it's a great question. I want to thank you for it.
Yeah.
One is that when student population decreases, especially in our elementary schools, sometimes that population decrease, even within Hubbardston, if you lose, you haven't lost 15 students in Hubbardston, but let's say you did, if this kindergarten class, we might be able to reduce by a teacher. That might be one example that is like an outlier. But
Right.
typically what happens is you might lose a few students that are 5th grade or 3rd grade. And it's never enough to be able to reduce 1 teacher. Or if we reduce across the district, we might lose, 25 students. But if some are in Hardwick and some are in Ocam and some are in Hubbardston, it doesn't allow us to decrease those teachers. However, this year, we have taken a really, really careful look, especially at the high school level, of the decreases that we're having with students. Another factor that is playing in this year is that when our vocational schools, which is the new lottery process, you probably read a little bit about this. They now have to use a lottery process. Some of them were able to request an increase to a 20% increase to the acceptance of their students because vocational schools are in such high demand. So we know we have an anticipated number of 44 of our students that would be 9th graders with us may attend vocational programs because they've been accepted. So that has allowed us to go back in at the high school level to say, what does that mean for our student number and the classes that we need to offer and fill for these students? So some of our reductions, actually many of them, are going to take place at the high school level this year, and that hasn't happened because it hasn't sort of worked out that way previously. But I also want to say that is going to impact some of the programs and the things we run for our students. I mean, it has to, you understand that. We also have always run an international baccalaureate or an IB program. Those numbers have been small over time. So this year, I had to make the decision and say, we will run that IB diploma program to get our diploma candidates, our seniors, their diplomas, but after that, we're not able to run the diploma program anymore. So those changes are coming. I know from where you sit, you have a high sense of urgency, and I do respect that. To be perfectly honest, and I think we all had hope for the Chapter 70 formula being looked at and fixed and being in a better place, or having rural aid better support us. The Rural Aid Commission report states that it is more costly to educate students in communities like ours, and yet we are not funded differently than the Chapter 70 formula allows. So that's why we've been pushing so hard for that, for those programs to be funded. Even our regional school transportation, when we regionalized, we were, promised that regional transportation would be reimbursed at 100% reimbursement. It's at 87% anticipated for next year. That's a lot. It's a lot for us. And that's, we're talking about this with Barry today, and that's only for the students who are 1.5 miles from the school district. But some of our roads, our kids can't walk to school if they're 1 mile away.
Right.
So we're not eating, but we're not being reimbursed for those students. So those are the costs that keep going up that I know are frustrating to you and to us as well.
Is this reflecting diesel based on the war, quote, unquote?
So the interesting thing is that our current transportation provider does not have a fuel escalation clause. The other thing that Allison did was our special education transportation provider. Our contract was up and she reached out to a different provider because we don't have to go to bid for special education. So she reached out to our big yellow bus provider and said, can you do this for the same cost, not a penny more? We can't have an increase in special education transportation. And they're going to do that. They're going to pick up our students. So that was a huge cost savings, but all the things that you face, personally, and again, as a town, but insurance benefits and cost of goods and services. We went through every line item. We cut such small things over time, professional development, software. We cut a software program that Building and Grounds used to track their use of chemicals, and we said, we'll create one ourselves. You know what I mean? Anything we could come up with. There was like no stone unturned. We cut, which is, uniforms from athletics, equipment, no new equipment for athletics this year at the middle high school. We cut instruments for our band chorus music program.
I was able to get rid of our routing software because we were doing our routing for the yellow buses internally, which I had never seen actually before. So talking with the big yellow bus contractor, he was able to take over all of our routings. We were able to terminate the $5,000 annual fee that we pay for the software, but additionally, that was about, I think, 30–40% of a full-time position that we have at central office. So being able to alleviate that workload allowed us to be able to have a cut from a different department so we could absorb that workload in central office. So we made that arrangement. I was able to revisit our property and casualty insurance and went out to a different broker, kept the same insurance company, and we were able to save about $25,000 doing that. I'm going meticulously, line for line, to make cuts and try to save.
So, thank you for that answer. thing with the school, and I looked at the graduation percentage couple, 3 months ago, and it didn't really impress me. What's that number today?
Our graduation rate, it's
Yeah.
only updated through, it's back a few years. I can look it up for you.
Yeah, I thought it was around 63%.
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, it's in the high nineties.
Oh, it's high 90s?
Yeah,
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
I must have been looking at bad numbers.
no,
Oh,
that's,
all right.
I don't think we've ever had a graduation rate that low.
Well, I would think not. If you did, it'd be, you're failing schools.
Yeah, no, it
Yeah.
is. It is not that
All
low,
right.
but I'm happy to send it to you.
No, I can look it up through the
Yeah,
state.
but just know it is a couple of years back, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I must have looked at the wrong number. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
One other question on your oil. Now, you put that out for bid, correct?
No, so we're working with CREC, the consortium, the oil consortium, and that's a little bit convoluted as to how that's working right now, actually.
Yeah. When does that, it's out for bid right now?
Yes.
When does that close?
14.
Oh, bad time.
But we can reject it. So there's 18 districts involved right now, but I'm not even 100% that we're involved in this bid that's out right now.
Okay.
And that's why I say that it's,
Now, do these, I don't know how the school works with that in the bidding process, but do they have a downside protection for the oil when it comes to the school system? So like a homeowner, you buy your oil from an oil company, you pay an extra fee. If the price goes down, you get the lower price.
we're locked into our rate.
Have you looked into downside protection if it's available?
I've not ever heard of it.
Yeah, they pay a different rate than what,
Well, yeah, they're not paying what I'm paying.
yeah.
Because you got 18 schools going with systems, that's a lot of oil, and that's a lot of profit. You can lower your profit margin when you're selling to that many people. I
I'm sure if we
understand.
independently went out to bid, we could absolutely write it in to our RFP that wanted to include that. I don't see it going down at the point, but I mean, we absolutely could do that. We have.
So tell me this, if you don't accept the bid and kind of wait out what's going on in the, wherever over there, Iraq, Iran. But I personally see it breaking in the next couple months, and I also see the price plummeting again in the next couple of months. So if you lock in now, you're gonna be overpaying. So that's my only question. Now, it's like going to the casino, right? I mean,
Yeah, you're gambling, you really.
what do I do? Do I lock in at whatever it is a gallon now, or do I wait 6 weeks and then do it again, and then you'd fall out of the consortium? Would you fall out of that, or are they all gonna refuse to?
So like I said, I don't know that we're even in it. So
Okay.
right now in FY 26, there's a leftover 700,000 gallons of oil. So they're going out to bid with the participants that were involved in FY 26, which
Yeah.
was 16 members. So there's two add-ons, myself and then another district. So they're going out to bid, and if they get the same vendor that wins, that has the 700,000 gallons, he's willing to take those extra gallons at the rate that's locked in currently, which I believe is like 232. He's gonna take that rate plus the 18 districts that have put in what they're anticipating on using for FY 27, and then combining the two rates for an average, and including those additional 700,000 gallons to have a weighted, it would be a much better rate, and they're willing to let us jump in on that.
Okay,
If they do not get the same vendor and it goes to somebody else, we lose that 700,000 gallons, and I'm not allowed to participate. So it's not even up to me. So when the bid comes out on the 14th, I get to walk, but the 16 members that were active in FY 26 have the autonomy to accept or decline. So we kind of just sit and wait. But then we can also personally, as a district, independently go out for our own RFP, accept or decline that as well. And our contract is actually up June 30th. So according to chapter 30B, we have we have up to $100,000 to spend before it becomes a bigger issue. So we can just get our 3 quotes and spend as necessary until we see what the market does. But right now, we're gonna top off all of our tanks right now at our locked-in rate.
you're locked in, right?
Yeah, our locked-in rate.
Yeah,
That
smart
we have
idea.
till June 30th.
Yeah.
Just completely overrun them. So we are gonna be okay to run through summer and just kind of play things out.
What's your oil usage a year?
I put in an estimate of 202,500 gallons for FY '27. Right now, we've used about 198,000.
And that's regular, number two, heating
Yes.
oil.
Yes.
But I just never thought I'd be talking about this much oil one. Really.
Oh, it's,
For school, yeah, no, it makes sense, but
For school,
Yeah.
for home, for.
there's a lot, yeah, that's a
Okay.
lot of oil.
Okay. I didn't realize it was 200K a year. Is that average? An average amount
I
or is
think
that?
we were a bit higher this past year.
Yeah, it was colder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was colder earlier, so everybody was, I was, everybody. So, all right, thank you for that.
Is there anything else?
I got a question. Can you tell me about the investment income? What is that? What's the total investment?
The two primary bank accounts that we have with Fidelity and Unibank, our interest rates were 1% and just under 1%, about 0.75%. So we had reached out to them seeking a higher interest rate. So they were able to give us just under 4% for both of the bank accounts, and those are our primary depository accounts. So we're just forecasting what we maintain in those accounts and what we're expecting to receive for revenue as for what we're going to get back for interest.
And what are the value of those accounts?
The monetary value of overall,
Yeah.
on average or current.
Overall, current?
I don't know that offhand, but I can get that information to you. I don't want to just shoot at the hip and take a guess.
So this number you're showing me is the delta in interest only?
Yes, that's just interest between the two accounts.
And you said the interest was 1.5%?
No, it was 70.75% and 1% for two separate accounts. And now it's up to 3.25.
For both?
Yeah, one was 3.25 and the other one, I believe, is like 3.
And what is this? And 68,000 is the interest on the balance in these accounts at 3%, 3.25%.
Yep, that we anticipate receiving this year.
So what is this used for? So I mean, there's a lot of money in these accounts, millions of dollars.
Yes.
What is this money used for?
That's our chapter 78, that's our reimbursement, that's.
Your cash flow?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's our primary depository accounts where all of our state funding comes through, that's everything.
So it's not like a investment.
Not a savings account.
It's like my check. Right. So you're paying bills every day out of it. Yeah, so it's up and down.
Yeah, it's to their benefit also that they
Yeah.
have that money there, so.
Yeah.
It's nice of them to help us
Yeah.
with the interest rate,
Well, at least you're making something off it, better than 0.75.
right?
Like a
Doesn't
regular
hurt fast.
homeowner.
Yeah, they didn't even hesitate, so they knew it was coming,
Yeah, it's scamming you.
right? Thank you.
So just, where are you in terms of your contract cycles? Where's,
We negotiated last year our food and nutrition, our custodian and our office managers. This year we have teachers, paraprofessionals and secretaries.
so those are your largest cost items in terms of contract. Have you planned to, have you budgeted funding to satisfy those contracts?
We have,
Okay.
Are they still in negotiation? So how do you do that?
well,
Good question.
we set aside a certain amount of money and we can't go over it. So,
Well, I hope you brought them in lower than 3.5%.
What was your last, 3-year
Agreement?
contract? Yeah. Do you know the
Uh,
percentage?
I believe it was a 3.33.
And was that 3 on top of steps? So what was the effective, if you went up a step, is that a 3% or is that a 4% or what's the
So
overall
when our
effective?
teachers, we only have 15 steps, so or 16.
That's
When
not
our
bad.
teachers move through steps, it's 3%
Yeah.
between steps.
So a teacher could actually, all right,
6%.
so, and all the steps got a 3% escalation?
In the last contract, yes.
Okay.
What's the time between each step? You know,
1 year.
1 year. And every step is 3%? plus contract raise every year?
Yes,
So you're talking 6%.
that's
For
right.
the people who are on those steps, but
6%.
42% of our people are stepped down.
That's a 3-year contract, right?
That was the last 3-year
Yeah.
contract.
But that's still 60% of your largest line item in your budget is rising at 6%. And again, just getting back to cost of contract, it's important for us to understand when the state is holding itself harmless. These small towns that can barely find enough money to take care of a police station, fire station, our senior citizens, and our employees that don't even get longevity, don't even get health care after they retire. We're paying for a 6% step for an incredible group of employees. We value education. We care about our teachers. But we're trying to balance priorities. And what we're looking for is just something a little less than 4.9%. And that's what Hubbardston's increase. It's not your budget number, you're 4.2, but how can you help us make this work? Because we want to make it work, but we have a litany of complexities here too. And I appreciate how hard it is to run a school district. I really do. I just think there's got to be some room here to find a little bit more common ground. We're pressing every little nickel, 500 new lines in a really tight budget.
I mean, at this point, this is our number. You know, we worked really hard to get here. We decreased the budget significantly. You know, the Senate number is due to come out tomorrow. I don't know if there'll be any changes there. That's something that we can certainly look at. But, you know, part of the formula, right, is what the state says you as a town can pay. There's aspects of this that the school has no control over, right? So we have control over our budget at 4.23% increase. But the other factor combines your operating assessment is what the state says Hubbardston is able to pay, right? So that number is where we're at. I mean, as you know, we can possibly go down, but what's that? Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So your required local contribution from FY 26 to 27 went up 5.42%. That's a significant amount, and your above required local contribution, which is where your assessment is stemming from, is only gone up about $80,000.
I just think it's important to kind of just highlight that Hubbardston's required net school spending, what the state requires us to spend is $4.6 million. On top of that, this town spends an additional $2.2 million on top of what the state requires. And this is above the local Chapter 70 requirement. It's just important for everybody to understand, like, we're not at a minimum level. We're actually exceeding it by millions. While we still have a hard time taking care of a police station or a fire station or seniors that deserve more and more services. We have an aging community, more and more people on fixed incomes. We have declining enrollments, not for a year. We're the largest declining enrollment in this district over 3 years. And yet these costs continue to escalate at a higher rate than, frankly, the town can really afford. It's putting a lot of pressure on the town.
We do understand that, and I don't want to downplay that. We absolutely do. You know, we are doing our best to cut back, but there's also sort of these gambles that you take. You know, how much money we're going to use to offset the budget, how much staff, and, you know, I made some reductions last year that quite honestly were really not good decisions. And, you know, it impacts kids when things like that happen. And then you have to, you know, kind of rethink. So you know, again, this is where we're at today. You know, could the numbers change? Maybe. I don't want to make you a promise I can't keep. You know, and I will tell you this, and I know you know this, but I think there's 7 districts in the whole state that spend the minimum below minimum contribution, right? Like 7, not even districts, 7 towns that spend that way. Nobody spends that way because you can't educate kids on that amount of money. You just
I'm
can't.
not suggesting we spend the minimum. I'm just suggesting that if there's a way for you to take a 4.9% for Hubbardston and turn it into a 4%, it would help us immensely. If there was a way for you to go back and look at whatever budget amounts that you've allocated and look at whatever contingencies or reserves you have for some of those unknowns that you're currently trying to figure out, whatever they may be, whether it's fuel or contracts. You've got a financial position that's better than ours in terms of your largesse. You're the biggest municipal agency in the region. And it's a lot harder for a town like Hubbardston to try to find numbers to balance our budget than it is for you.
The challenge to that is to reduce Hubbardston by that 0.9% means I also have to reduce all the towns.
That's right.
So it ends up being a large amount of money, not just what your savings is going to be. So just kind of keep that in mind. It is significant. When we were reducing this budget, I kept going to Allison and I kept saying, what's going to get us to this? What's going to get us to this? What's going to get us to this? And it's much more significant on our end than you may realize.
Oh, I understand. It sounds like Allison's doing some really good work though. And
She is.
if she can continue to renegotiate some of these contracts, maybe you can help us budget a number that will help us all get through this budget season. And if things change, as they always do, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse, we always have a future town meeting to go to together and try to figure out how to make it all work. We are in it together. And we're not, you know, nobody's here saying you have to, but we're trying to figure this out. And it's a complicated amalgamation of needs and budgets. Last thing, I just want to, regional services. If you can't do anything with your budget, maybe you can help us with some services. Maybe there are some things, whether it's facility related, you've got a facilities director, you've got facility staff, and maybe there are some intermunicipal agreements, whether it's human resources or other areas where we could actually share services that would help us both find a better economy of scale for the budget lines that are really hard to fund.
We are at, and I told you this before, we're absolutely open to entertaining those conversations with you and trying to figure some of that out for sure.
Okay, I do appreciate that. I just, you know, I want to put it on the record here because it's important for the town and the school district really to work together.
Yeah, we don't want to
figure these things out.
with you, and we've tried to really not be, I hope, in the past few years. And, you know, we will go back and we'll look and see, but I just know how it's taken for us to get to this point, and that, you know, I don't know. Allison will run the numbers for me first thing tomorrow morning and tell me what that 0.9 means for district wide, but it will be significant.
So I have one last thing to say. I was a uni guy for a lot of years, probably since back to 87. When things get lean, everybody takes a hit, but I never see teachers take a hit. They always get at a minimum 3 or more. I've gone 0, 0, and 0. I'm like, well, when things are lean, I don't think they've ever taken a 0.
I I don't want to misspeak, but I do want to say, I know during COVID that their raises were significantly lower. I don't want to say what the
Yeah,
amount
no, I
was,
don't need to
but it
know.
was not anywhere near a 3%. Was it a 0? I'm not sure, but I could research it for you and let you
But
know.
they still had a job and they were still getting paid from home.
But yeah, so
So, you know what I mean? That's a benefit.
we are, you know, our current contract, so just to let you know, our custodial contract, our food nutrition, those folks, for next year are at a 2%. That is what we negotiated for
Do
them.
they have a step as well?
So, most of our contracts have steps in them.
Every year?
Yeah, but they're not all the
They're all
same.
different.
They're all
School
different.
nutrition, one, for example, it's $1.75 between step. They're very different.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's still, you get a step and you get the COLA.
It's just important that we understand the cost of the contracts that we have to support. And it's important because we have CBAs as well. And when folks kind of look at one public employee group, you know, it's fair for them to kind of say, well, what about us? And what about the region? How could we, how do we take care of our families? And if it's a 6% or more, because I don't know if you have any other supplemental comps in that contract, if there's, you know, other, you know,
Stipends.
degrees and other, you know, steps and things that add cash to a contract. It's just important to understand this. And when you're the fiduciaries and you're balancing our financial responsibilities too, man. We need to know how those things are going. It just, it's something that we have to pay for and we should know those costs before they get inked. Even if it's like a special meeting where we all, you know, have an executive session and we get a chance to just understand the 3-year obligation for a contract that we're gonna have to afford when we're all right on the bubble of our 2.5 levy.
Yeah, because all the towns around us right now are going for,
From 2.5.
yeah,
Oh,
right,
everyone
and they're
across the
all,
state. It's
they're,
years more than ever before.
Well,
yeah,
we're trying-
and they're failing.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is they're failing. They're
Yeah.
not going
Yeah.
through. So that leaves the problem of,
Right.
here we all are.
Right,
Still
so that's,
sitting here,
once
same
again,
problem.
I get back to, everybody's struggling, but this group over here is getting 3, 3, and 3, all the time.
Well, we don't know what they're gonna get this go.
Well, no, that's your point, yeah, but I'm just throwing a number.
They're gonna get a 3% step.
Guaranteed 3%. Yeah, but that's in their contract, I understand
Yeah.
that. So whoever's doing these contracts needs to go back to contract school, and it's out of control. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't take it personal, I just,
No, I don't.
being in the business for a lot of years, not a teacher, but in 2
Yeah.
different unions, somebody has to take a hit. Your insurance costs are going up, your teacher's insurance costs are going up, but so are our employees. Their costs are going up, and they're lucky if they get a 2.5. You know what I mean? And then they look over there, they're getting 3s and a step. Well, maybe they should have been a teacher. Yeah, you can always say that, but people don't look at it like that. So we've been lean for years, as you know, since you've taken over. We've been very lean, and I understand it's not your issue, but we run a tight ship, pretty lean. I mean, we're lean all the time, and now we're upside down 200K. It's like, how does that happen? I don't know. Insurance, everything else, that's where it happens. It just, it's not gonna get better here in the near future. I don't see it getting any better unless, fuel drops for everybody, this and that, it frees up a little, but then insurance, house insurance, this, everything's up. Except for paycheck. They're always going the other way, and they have been for the last 3 or 4 years. So,
Yeah, but the cost of insurance, I mean, that's.
oh, it's out of control.
it's crazy.
Talk about a scam, I ought to be in the insurance business, so.
All right, so
All right, thank you.
do we have anything else
appreciate it.
from us?
No, I just, calling, thank you, and Allison, thank you. Appreciate
No,
it.
we appreciate it. I mean, for what you've done, we appreciate it going, this is your 3rd version,
Yes.
and it takes a lot of time.
Almost there.
For the record, you say that your budget's not our problem, but it is our problem, because we're
Well,
all
well,
a team together, so.
You know what I'm saying.
No,
is-
I just want you to know that we are
Is-
sympathetic of that, and
Yeah, but you know, our staffing issues and what they get for raises isn't your issue. But when you look at the whole, everybody in these small towns look at all of us as a whole with Quabbin. We're all interconnected, right? And when they see the teachers getting whatever they're getting, and then a step raise on top of that, and they're only getting this,
They don't even have any kids in
in
school
their
because
heads,
they're all
their
seniors.
heads are spinning. How does that happen? Everybody's lean. Nobody's making more money. Their raises aren't where they should be, but yet they. I know what they need. The teachers need a no strike clause. That's what they need.
Well, technically, it's.
Okay, we're getting up way off. Okay,
Oh,
okay. We're
Yeah.
going too far this way, okay. So do we have anything else?
we're getting too far, Jeff.
Well, talking about teachers getting no strikes, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about right
I'm talking
now.
about teachers.
I know you are, and I'm a retired teacher, okay? So,
No, that's why you take it first.
No, stop, all right, and now, we're moving on.
okay, thank you very much.
Welcome, we'll be in touch.
All right, thanks.
Good luck, Allison. Welcome aboard.
Yes,
Thank you.
welcome, it's
Keep
nice to
doing
meet
the
you.
great work that you're doing. That's all I can say. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
All right. Try to-
Thanks. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, we'll move to item 6. Travis is here.
Yep.
On the, list of the roads, Travis, you wanna,
How'd you miss the bright yellow?
Huh?
How'd you miss the bright yellow?
and we've been provided with that too, so, I believe.
Yeah, right here. Or it's the,
Yeah, I got it over here, yeah.
See.
But is
Yeah.
it gonna be up there? or-
no,
Right.
you can go up there.
Floor is yours, Travis,
Sit up there, so that you can
please.
chat with us.
Right. I think we didn't print out the dollar amounts, but
Do you want mine? You can have mine. There you go. I'll share. Yeah, it's fine, don't worry. You read that, don't worry. I will get off you guys' pages, don't worry.
okay, so I know everyone's getting
Get that.
phone calls and everything about Brigham Street this year and nothing's changed. They said it was the spring of, still FY 26, they're waiting for, weather to be warmer than what it is for the type of construction that we're doing. So, Brigham Street and Berry Road cutoff will be done. I did get an email today from the pavers.
With the start
and-
date.
So the tentative scheduled date for Brigham Road and Berry Road cutoff would be lowering plate structures the week of May 18th, reclaim May 28th and 29th, and paver binder course the week of June 1st. Just structured and then install top course of week June 8th. Like I said, it was gonna be done before July 1st.
Mhm.
It just depends on the weather. Weather's been wonky, it's been everywhere, so other than warm.
What's the best time of year to pay?
I want to see temperatures, road temperatures, around 50, 60 to do what we're doing with the emulsion for it to cure properly.
So some people think it's like the best time is like the spring or,
Gotta warm up.
summer, but really, if you want to get the best value out of your pavement, it's probably, October,
I mean, I'm supposed to pave, it's supposed to be 40 and rising, so if you're gonna pave. So I try to keep my pavement in the warmer temperatures just because I've seen pavement fall apart because of temperature, so. Most of my stuff usually starts right away, unfortunately, they don't give the funds right away. And they give it like in the middle of paving season, which everybody's waiting for. So that really hinders everybody doing paving and the reclaim and trying to get everybody together. So it's, it's nice when I do have the money, and I usually start right in July 1st and away it goes. So, the Dogwoods, North, Laurel Street, Geordie Lane, are on the docket to do this year. Nothing's changed there other than how much. Hopefully I'll be able to do everything I planned on Dogwood South also. But the liquid price of asphalt keeps going up. And, my escalation, I'm already over my escalation, so I don't know what the number is. So, waiting on that, but that's what that is for FY 27. I did have Dogwood North, Laurel Street, Geordie Lane, and Dogwood South, pending obviously the 100,000 of capital and the extra 282,000. Chapter 9. That was a part, we got some last year, was the first part of it, so it was supposed to be a 5-year plan, so I'm hoping that it continues. FY 28, we have New Templeton Road on that, which is a well-needed project. FY 29 is High Street and Williamsville Road. FY 30 is Old Princeton Road and Old Princeton Road. I do have an FY 31, which is Simon Hill Road.
This says 30.
What's that?
This says FY 30, Simon Hill.
Yeah, I changed some stuff. That's why this is updated.
Oh,
So it's updated. I was asked to do this in November, so this is,
oh, there we go.
I've had this. Unfortunately, it didn't send out my numbers.
Travis, a quick question going back to what's slated for this year. Are you exclude winter, but I mean, are you anticipating with what's going on in the world, these figures actually going up?
Like I said, right now, I have an escalation 5% up or down, and I'm over
You figure- you're
5%
figuring that in?
right now for my bid price.
Yeah, no, I
So
understand.
then I gotta get a number from them stating that this is the extra that you're gonna pay because of that. So I have to take that into, effect.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So far, so good. It's been planned out well and everything works out.
So, would these numbers then be reflecting that 5%?
No,
Oh, okay, all right.
that is having it at the price we have bid price on.
Mhm.
So if it went down, it's good for us. We get a check back. Otherwise, we get paid out.
I see. Thank you. Okay.
So Travis, Dogwood North, Laurel and Gertie are next year?
This year. Well, 27, after July. FY 20,
This fiscal year, yeah, okay, yeah.
we're in fiscal year 26 now, so July 1st is FY 27. So that's when we get the new funds from chapter 90.
So that'll be done by Christmas.
All my bids are there to be done before the end of September.
Thanks.
I don't like to go any longer. Usually if everything goes well, I'm done. August, usually if everything's there and I have the money, and the culverts are the only thing that held me up last year, so otherwise Brigham would have been done with Barry Road cutoff, so. That was the only thing holding me up, and I wasn't gonna rush it to bring it in right before winter and then have problems. I mean, people waited long enough to have the road nice and
Yep.
needed to fall for it.
There's no culverts on any of the roads this year, right? Over there, in the
It's
Dogwoods,
this drainage, but
not culverts. No, okay. All right.
it's not so much the culverts, it's the wetlands that become an issue.
I have a question. So New Templeton, New Westminster was done, what, 2 years ago now?
Yes, well, it depends, what part of New West.
So I know we had a tough winter, but it's cracking, right, in the middle.
Yeah, the joint, I mean, it's cracked in every town.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've had,
Do we seal those or can you seal
yeah,
them?
this year, Katie had mentioned to me that, what was it, the
I just
Senate or
hate to,
something
you
was,
know, see it, I mean, they were just done within 2 years and, I mean, as you crack, you allow moisture in, right, obviously. And then,
we are in the worst environment
Yeah.
where we are in Massachusetts to have pavement.
And this winter was a crazy.
And not only that,
crushing around.
the pavement that they produce now is nowhere near the old pavement that
Correct.
could last up. So that, I mean, we pay more for the pavement that we have now, but it does not last anywhere near where it used to last.
All right, so you are aware of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of cracks. I've got pictures of cracks. I got pictures of cracks where the road separated that much.
A 2-year-old road? That's.
Yeah, but I mean, in general, of cracking, it's happened everywhere, including 62 in Barry was just done. It's got more cracks on it now than it has, right? So
I
just.
mean, yeah, I mean, if you leave them open, it's just gonna get worse.
Crack sealing, which I was saying.
Well,
we
that's
have,
what I mean.
With the Recovery Act, I think they're giving us some money, so
Oh.
I have a plan to do some
Oh,
crack sealing.
that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, that's, well, you wouldn't let him finish speaking, you cut him off.
I'm Italian, what do you expect?
He was saying that we were talking, and I found this thing on Peter Durant's, page about how Hubbardston is supposedly getting like, I think it was like $222,000 or something for winter recovery. And I was showing him, I'm like, look, we can do crack sealing or something. We can pave something with this.
I mean, unfortunately, ideally is the crack seal every year.
Yeah.
Things have gone up and then
Yeah.
roads that need to be paved, and has there been non-crack sealing? Absolutely. And then I get these and then I think up again.
I
So
understand.
I've talked a little, about crack sealing with Trav. I do think, when I look around, I travel through a lot of communities, Hubbardston's roads are actually in pretty good shape. And I do think, his methodology and his careful, approach to road preservation, has helped the town. When I look at roads, it's like a bank account. During tough times, if your roads are in pretty good shape, you can focus on other priorities. But you do have to maintain them, and you do have to use a couple of different methodologies. The roadways in Hubbardston are particularly challenging because things are wet, and you have a lot of roads in wet areas, wet adjacent areas that have groundwater underneath them, and you don't have to be a geologist to figure out, during winter time, you're gonna have a lot of freeze and frost, expansion, and it just makes it really hard to, stay on top of.
Well, Travis, we appreciate what you do for us with what little you get. I do.
I mean, it was horrible this year. There wasn't one town that you were in that didn't have frost.
Oh, yeah, it was cold. Yeah. No, I understand, thank you.
We had a full-on speed bump on my road, like,
You should be happy.
oh, I hit it a couple times, forgot about it. I was like, whoa.
No, and there are people in town, because they've spoken to me, who
A
were
lot of people.
very happy with what you guys did with what you had this winter especially. So we do appreciate what you're doing, Travis.
Keep it up, you're doing a good job.
So is there anything else from anyone here on that? Thank you very much, Travis. Okay, next up is the review of the annual town meeting draft of the warrant.
Yeah, we have, an updated draft. We cleaned up a few things. It's still, the draft, we added some, important dates at the top. This, has to be mailed out, by May 18th. So we have to actually get it to mail on May 15th, 14 days prior to June 1st. So the last day that the select board has to approve the warrant would be, May 18th. Sorry,
You mean close it?
yeah, to, close it. We have to get it to KP Law on the 12th, so.
So it would be for our next meeting then.
That's right.
We wouldn't have a meeting to,
I think we might need to have a
special meeting to close
special
it.
meeting just to
Yeah.
close it, depending on the board's availability.
And keep in mind, we have meetings next week,
For interviews.
pre-scheduled, yeah, that we
We'll have to-
could in theory, for the first half an hour.
If it's just for a vote to close the warrant,
Yeah.
that wouldn't take long at
No,
all.
no.
'Cause
Nope.
We have to do it before the 18th. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We've done the 12th, right? You said May 12th? To, close it?
That's right. I can quickly step through the warrant articles. These are pretty standard, housekeeping ones. Article 1 and 2 are, reports from officers. Article 3 is any adjustments that we have to make for the FY 26 budgets. We're still reconciling some lines in the FY 26 budget. Article 3 is authorize the select board to make agreements with the Mass Department of Transportation. Article 4 is to accept any educational grants for FY 27. Article 5 is to authorize the continuation of the Holden Hospital account. Article 6 is the revolving accounts. These are staying the same as the prior year unless board members have any concerns or department heads share any concerns. 7 is payment of prior year bills. This is probably going to be extensive. We have bills from FY 25 and 24. So it's just, things that we're reconciling.
So that's like more than what's showing here.
It's more than what's the lines there are just to show that they will get filled in.
I got you. Yeah.
Article 8 is to raise funds for the FY 27 budget. I haven't filled in the amounts yet. We're still trying to balance the budget, but certainly we'll come together over the next week. The Article 9 is the Montezuma Regional Vocational School Appropriation. Article 10 is the Quabbin Regional School District, and Article 11 is the just raising funds again for the Quabbin Regional School.
The debt.
Yeah, debt service.
Yeah.
Article 12 is just appropriating some funds. This is stock language from last year for
So
mowing services for the,
this was supposed to be done last year. I remember I made a huge stink about this, like a huge stink about this. And I said, we are not paying it again. And we are not supposed to be paying again because we hit year 30 last year.
okay, let me look
But this
into it.
is not- And the state will just keep taking the money
Okay.
every freaking year and not, they don't even.
Let me reach
Yeah.
out to DEP and see what kind of relief.
What, caps 30 years?
Yeah, it's been capped 30 years and there's never been one test that has shown anything. And yet we have to keep paying this money and the Board of Health put us think about it. I put us think about it because there's nothing there and they don't.
Right, but it's an environmental, my thing is, I've worked with landfills and cap maintenance and regulatory agencies.
They'll just keep taking the money forever as long as we keep paying them, but the agreement was 30 years
Okay.
and we hit our 30 years.
All right.
I just found you, what, 10 grand, 12 grand.
All right, keep up the work.
No.
Sorry.
Tips, no.
No.
Article 13 is about, Massachusetts general laws permitting, trust funds to be invested, in legal stock. Article 14, is an appropriation of $10,000 for grants. These articles generally, these are just holdover from last year. These are amounts that should be in the operating budget, because every year you should have funding in the operating budget that helps you support grants, but it gets back to how the budget was built last year. You appropriated 98,000 in free cash. It's these outside of your operating budget funding that creates a structural issue with operating responsibilities. You want to get to a place where you're budgeting everything in your operating budget that you ordinarily and customarily would do every year, and you want to build on that. And you
Minus free cash.
minus free cash,
Right.
or
Right.
these appropriations outside of your operating budget, because you raise these funds outside of your operating budget, but they act as if they're an operating budget appropriation.
Okay, so this is putting money aside. Article 14 is to put 10 grand aside
Yep.
to deal with the grant.
It's a great thing to do.
Okay.
You always want to have funding aside to match, get, 90 cents on the dollar.
All right, this isn't paying that company to go find grants, right? Okay.
No, this is if, the, planning department or public safety department gets a grant, we have money to match it.
But you're also saying, if I understood early, just a couple minutes ago, you're actually recommending that we don't continue doing this, meaning
I think,
depending on the free cash
I'd rather
of this,
throw it in the budget, but
it should be
depending
in the budget.
on how we can balance this budget.
Yeah,
you-
understood.
I'm flagging it just as a matter of truth and budgeting. If it's something that belongs in your operating budget, put it in your operating budget. If we can't do it this year because we have so many structural issues that we're trying to balance, including $98,000 that we used in free cash last year for FY '26, that's half of the variance that we're trying to figure out. It's you used free cash to try to fund your operating budget, and that free cash is not free. It doesn't reoccur every year.
Nope.
You need reoccurring revenues with reoccurring expenditures. Just, local government.
What's the recommended amount they recommend we should be carrying in free cash?
Generally 5% of your 5 to 7% of your operating budget.
5% of the operating budget.
So, you want to have a range. If you don't want to have stabilization, we're on 10 to 12%. All these things are financial policies. And you can get there. Your financial DNA is pretty good. But you got to control some of the costs.
So what are you talking, 350 to 400,000, somewhere around there, 5% of our operating budget,
Generally,
which is what, 4 point something?
yeah, you got a $12 million budget.
Yeah, minus the school, right?
No, not minus the school.
No?
Our budget,
Yeah,
our budget.
12 million times 5, yeah,
Oh, okay, so 5% of,
that'd be 6.
The overall,
oh,
budget,
okay.
That'd be about 600.
the overall, so you don't take out the school.
Yeah, well,
Roughly
you're gonna have
600K, isn't it?
5 years.
Yes.
6 years.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right. Article 15 is the cable. This is public education government. These are paid through fees on local cable. Capital improvement, as we discussed, it's minimal this year just because frankly, we need some time to figure out a long-range capital plan. The town has over the last couple of years approved a number of significant capital items, but really thinking about, the debt service for the municipal complex and all the other needs that you have, I think it would be helpful to just reestablish the capital plan process. That said, certainly evaluate the library elevator. But there are plenty of grants out there for those kinds of projects, and that should be the first, stop. A capital plan is a plan, it's not a budget. But having a really good plan can help you get grants. It shouldn't be a process where it immediately translates into an appropriation. It should be a plan that spends years trying to get funded through anything but the local taxation. That's it. The town's got a number of projects that we should evaluate over the next few days. The Community Preservation Committee has sent in language for how they would like to allocate a number of statutory funding levels. They've got requests for 5,000 for administrative expenses, 10,005 for historic, 10,005 for community housing, 10,005 for open space, and 68,200 for undesignated reserve. The Quabbin Regional School District language, you may remember, the superintendent came in for a listening session a few months ago. That's the plug for the, language that will include, there's, a request from the treasurer for, a Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 60, Section 2A that would allow the treasurer to negotiate the ability to waive interest on certain taxes that are due to the town. We've talked to the board about $1.1 million in back taxes owed to the town. I think this is important, but I think the board should actually accept recommendations from the treasurer about whether or not we should waive interest. There are mitigating circumstances where people fall behind in their taxes through the loss of a loved one or an earner, elderly, and absolutely there should be a way to waive some interest, but you cannot do that if you don't accept this statute. I do think you need a belt and suspender on it, and I think the treasurer is wise to recommend that because she has had.
So you're right
one do
here,
you want?
I'm sorry,
20.
20.
Because the Quabbin one's just right there. So
Oh.
that's, yeah,
all right.
I got confused for a second too.
So, I mean, it makes sense to me, because if you can waive, if somebody owes you $6,000 in back real estate taxes, but there's 2,500 in fees, late fees, I mean, you're better off taking the tax money than you are the interest. And that's-
So it's, and his discretion, it would be up to her discretion or his, depending long-term, who sits in that.
Their recommendation,
Yeah.
yeah.
The
It's
treasurer.
her. Right now, it's her.
Yes, right now it's her.
I always like it when it's a recommendation from the professional staff to the elected officials.
Okay,
I
do we,
feel like
does it have to come to us at all, or is it just stay in that office?
right now, the way it's written, it stays in that office.
Okay.
You give the treasurer that statutory, power.
Okay.
That said, having a check on it, I think would be a good thing.
Yes, that's what,
I'm just throwing it
not
out there.
that it's not always gonna be that same person sitting there.
That's
We're
right.
all going to change eventually, you know?
But I think it's great that she's thinking about these things
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
getting somebody in and getting them to pay something as
Mhm.
opposed to
Nothing.
it would be a good thing for everybody. Article 21, these are
Well,
the,
wait a minute, I think we should change that one, right? If this is only a rough draft.
it is, yep. If somebody wants to make a motion to change the language to include a,
So, let's just go back over the change in the language that it has to be brought to us for approval,
recommendations we brought to the board. Yep,
and we have to approve it before she can do it.
Yeah.
that's right.
Yes, I agree with that.
She would be the only one to make the recommendation.
Yeah.
And,
I agree with that.
Okay,
all right.
you making the motion? No,
No.
you want me to make the motion? Okay.
Please.
I'd like to make motion that article number 20, we add in some kind of language that states that the tax collector needs to come back to the select board
For the approval.
for the approval process. After, with her recommendation or his recommendation.
Second.
The motion is made and second. Any discussion? Questions? Did you want to say something?
I don't.
Oh,
He's writing it.
both of you were writing it. Have you got it?
Yeah. Well, they're doing some kind of,
Okay.
they'll figure out the language afterwards, but.
No questions, no discussion? All in favor?
Yeah.
Yes, opposed? Abstained? Motion passed.
Article 21 is just a table of use update. It's just a helpful, zoning table and,
Nothing the plan.
thank you to Christina for formatting it correctly. It was pretty difficult. And, the last page is your signature page. You have to sign this in, I think, 7 copies, so they'll be in a folder for the next meeting.
Even though this is a draft,
This is a draft,
but we still sign this tonight?
not tonight.
Okay, fine.
I just,
Oh, he's gonna scribble some stuff on it, fix a couple things, and then he's gonna come back.
it has to go to legal counsel. We'll send it off to legal counsel tomorrow. They'll send us back a list of questions. They'll make, Scrivener edits to it, and we will get it ready for
All right,
town meeting.
thank you very much, both of you, for all that detail. Appreciate it.
Christina's doing all the work. She's jumping right in.
These packets, they're excellent. They really
No
are.
signal. Oh, there we go.
I say, oh.
Okay,
No, no, wait.
let's move to item 8, because we have the department heads here, the 2 chiefs and the Supervisor Travis. So, finance update. Sean, I'll turn it over to you, and then you can pass it on to whoever.
Sure. So, as alluded to earlier, town department heads have been working diligently to really put together this zero-based budget. This budget, as it stands, sits at, $12,367,933. It's out of balance by $202,777. I included the department head request because I thought it was important that the department heads come to the select board and present their requests, but also see where the town administrator has made some adjustments. Every adjustment I've made, I've gone over with the department heads. Ultimately, I've cut about $60,000 out of the departmental request.
And we're still looking for 200.
I'm still
Okay,
looking for
right.
200. I have some ideas about that. I've discussed additional reductions with some department heads, but certainly we're going to be cutting into the bone. As I mentioned earlier with the superintendent, there's no easy reductions in a town budget like this where we don't have, certain core, services or, expenditures in key areas that really would help the quality of life for Hubbardston's residents. Everything is a trade-off. This budget has over 550 lines in it. That's over 450 new lines
That's incredible.
than what you approved last year. So this budget has the line item number, the general description, the detailed description, the 2026 approved budget, the year-to-date, the 2000 FY27 budget request, and the TA request. There are 4 other lines hidden. Each of the departments here also have 5 years worth of actual expenditures that frankly we just hid. It's not at the level of detail, that we have in all the lines, but it is some detail, and it's helped us have some careful conversations about the numbers that are before you. With that, Chief, did you drink a cup of coffee tonight? Are you ready to?
I'm ready to go.
Come up here. If you can turn to page 25, probably hard to see, but
Where's the page numbers?
Right here.
it's
Oh.
line item 366. So if you look at the cell, it's probably an easier number for you to look at, 366.
Is there a,
Yes, I will scroll.
the mouse is wireless.
You said 366?
The, yeah.
Okay, I got it.
So dedicated. That's all. Thank you very much.
That's so.
Page
Yeah, it's
31.
not paid, it's page 30.
Page 31 out of
Yeah.
47.
Yeah.
It's only 25, and
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I gave you the
That's,
cell.
you gave us,
I suppose I should be turning around.
Oh, okay.
no, you're fine, you got it right there. You
I know, but I mean, just, if he's
Just
gonna be
say shit.
pointing to things, I just-
Exactly. It's,
just to be polite,
I'm,
I can go back to him.
you do,
I'm
it's
just,
sweet, it's
just
say
pulling it up for.
for our tens and tens of views. Actually, this one will probably get tens and tens, because it actually has a real budget on it.
Brass tacks.
Yeah.
Okay. We ready for Peter?
Yeah, for Pete's sake,
Well, go ahead, get started.
yeah, forget him, he's gonna catch up.
Alright, so,
I was
some
gonna-
of these are gonna be pretty self-explanatory and based on either my employment contracts or the collective bargaining agreement with the patrolmen's union and so.
Steve, why don't we just describe the grayed out area is the budget as presented to town meeting last year.
Correct.
And so you're gonna see personnel was all lumped into that $637,000 request. and employee support was 28,000.
Mhm.
So that's the level of detail that you reviewed, with town meeting last year.
Mhm.
So the white is actually the level of detail that we put together this.
I love it.
All right, so,
How were your
my
money?
salary is pretty self-explanatory. Was, 105 this past year, it's 110.
Oh, frick.
You're getting a bargain. Sergeant's salaries and wages, so this is for the two sergeants for the contract. It was 154,960, it's now 159,162, so that's just that's
Mhm.
simply just their raise, based on their collective bargaining agreement. Patrolman. So this one is actually gonna be, it looks like a major jump in this line, however, we didn't have this, we're not necessarily adding a position, but this was a position that we had filled, that you authorized me to fill a couple meetings ago. I have not filled it yet because I wanted to wait until we had a conversation again about the budget. There's gonna be cuts. It's most likely gonna come from that wage line. So I filled it before the end of the fiscal year and then we were gonna make cuts. I didn't wanna have to talk about laying somebody off, so.
All right, so that wasn't the new guy that you just.
No,
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 that's
this
my
is
next
the
question.
bonus.
yeah, we have one officer going in the academy in June. That one, that's budget, that was previously budgeted for, I'd say. So that's going from 193,808 to 237,866, and that is,
So if that, excuse me, so if that's cut, we'll go back to the 193.
no,
It'd be like,
it will go down, but it won't go down to the 193.
Oh, okay.
It's,
Oh, because it's only one bond.
there's,
Okay.
right, there's a
Yeah.
contractual raise in there,
Yeah,
there's,
all right.
several factors.
Thank you.
That's-
So it's 4 FTEs in that line.
Right,
Yeah,
that's four, that's
well,
four
that's what I
full-time
figured.
patrol officers.
Yep.
The next line is my administrative assistant. He was at 21,423, that would go to 22,068. Now that's for 19 hours.
Mhm.
She does far more work than what 19 hours should get us. So I can't really, it should probably be a 40-hour-a-week position. Not something that we've had in the budget, but, with the amount of firearms licensing and everything, that really should be a full-time position, but, she's at 19 hours, that's what we've always had, so that's her salary there. This detective stipend, the patrolman that's, assigned as a detective that does the majority of the investigations, if there's anything that comes up, we'll get a stipend for that. A lot of departments have a percentage increase in their collective bargaining agreement for the detective. We've had a stipend, it's always been at that level, so that's never changed. It hasn't gone up since.
That's a smart way, by the way, for contracts, when they get linked to percentages,
mhm.
it always costs you more. You know,
Right,
because
because that would
it
go
comes
in the overtime. and things like that. So on the stipend, it's been that way for 10+ years. It's been at $1,500. I don't think we've ever increased it.
Okay. Does it cover it?
I mean, that's what they get for doing it. So they get paid.
Mhm.
Now they get paid while they're working it, but
Okay.
they get a stipend for being the detective. It's a lot of extra work. It's extra training, but, so no, it doesn't cover it, but
It's never gone over,
but that's
right?
what we pay them.
Okay,
That's what we pay them.
all right.
Educational incentives, this is based off of, off the CBA. These are actual, so 14.3 is what we will actually spend this year on what our officers have, master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, associate's degrees. The next line is the injury and sick leave. So that line, I increased it. What's been happening is we've been underfunded. If you take the average of the last 5 years, 91,43 is about the average to fill everything. There's been times that we wouldn't fill a sick day. So meaning an officer would work alone instead of having another officer on duty during our busier times, which is typically the 3-11 shift. overtime for investigations, special events, that's up 2,000 from last year. Again, with the collective bargaining agreement with their raises, we need to increase that. That's for basically everything not, I'll say not shift related. They're not working a regular shift during those periods. If they make an arrest, it could be 12 hours of court time, it could be 4 hours. We just don't know until the court case is resolved. Depends on the severity of the case.
So that increase is contractual, right?
It is, it should probably be maybe increased more, but, I felt that 2,000 was enough with what they're getting for a raise and what we've been doing, historically for numbers over the last few years.
If you read in the description, anything that says CBA, collective bargaining agreement, is a contractually obligated funding line. And that's gonna be true for the DPW, the fire department. And so when we look at adjustments in a budget, you don't wanna go and cut your contractual line out,
Right.
because, you know, that can cause a lot of grievances and frankly cost you more money if you don't bargain a good fit.
The next line is, so it's overtime for the 5 and 2 schedule, both the sergeants work an admin schedule. So working that schedule, they actually work 17 more days per year by hours, but it's 17 more days per year than an officer that's working a 4 and 2 shift. So the guys that work 4 and 2, they work 4 days on, 2 days off, get 17 less days that they have to work if you work that schedule, the way it works out. So that line will covering both sergeants for their 17 administrative days apiece that they would get. So that backfills their spot while they're taking that time off. Again, with that number, it's a significant increase, but we weren't budgeting to cover every time they took a shift off. We're budgeted that much. And when I got to that number or near that number, I would not cover the shift, which means either I'm covering the shift or they're working shorter, which is not ideal, obviously. The next line down is the CGIS computer maintenance and upgrades. This is the amount of money that we're paying for CGIS, which is our criminal.
Where'd John?
Where are
Where
you?
did you go?
You skipped.
Yeah, longevity.
Skip longevity.
Put on the back. Double sided to save money.
Okay.
Okay, longevity, here we go. So again, that's an actual number based on the CBA of what we'll have after July 1st so it's actually gone down, $3,000 approximately. That also means we lost an officer with some significant experience during that time. The next line down is the holiday and shift coverage for that. So based on the collective bargaining agreement, this covers the 24 hours of patrol coverage for all the observed holidays. It's based off of the CBA. Timers get double time when they work it, so it's significantly more than if I'm paying a patrolman overtime. But a lot of times, due to the collective bargaining agreement, they get first right of refusal. So they typically tend to take those. That was kind of added into the CBA to encourage them to do that, so our full timers could get a holiday off as a little bit of a perk for all the extra work. So, vacation coverage spelled out there. The sergeant with 32 vacation days, another one with 27, and then the patrol officers 15 days, 10 days, 10 days, and then that last position wouldn't have it until the next fiscal year. And that amount there would be to cover all of their days off with overtime coverage or a part-time officer. So that's included in that average that I did in the last 5 years. Personal days, everybody gets 2 personal days. All the full-time employees do per the collective bargaining agreement. That number is what I feel is sufficient to cover their days off. Like I said, like everything else, it's been averaged out, so. It has gone down. I did lower that, number a little bit. Or we did it, as we, had to make some cuts here. The next one is shift differential. This is based on actual, so 3 to 11 gets $1.75, and the 11 to 7 shift gets $2 an hour extra, for working those shifts. That's to fully staff the 3 to 11 shift with 2 officers, which is at full staff, that's what we have, is 2 guys on 3 to 11 all the time. And then the 11 to 7 has 2 guys half of the time. The other half is 1 guy. So that number reflects that.
I'm assuming like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are the days there's 2.
No, it goes on a rotational basis.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay,
by the way their schedule rotates through.
okay.
Ideally, yes, you would want to have it.
Yeah, that's what
4-2
you,
schedule.
Yeah, it's because of that 4 and 2 schedule. Yeah, ideally, you'd want that on the weekend.
yeah, well, that's because
However-
there's gonna be problems.
You would have to set, some of these days off at like Monday, Tuesday. And that
Okay.
wouldn't
But if you're a bad guy,
be a perk.
you'd study that
4-2.
rotation and they'd figure it out. That's why rotation's good.
That's how we trick them.
I would check on.
Work alone differential.
Think like a criminal.
So,
Sorry, Mom.
it's an increase, but if you look at the year to date, what we've spent in work alone, that reflects the amount of time that I'm not backfilling shift, because they only get that differential if they're working by themselves, and they should have had another officer working with them. I think $1 an hour is not anywhere near enough compensation for that, but that's what we pay them, so.
I'm not sure, but we saw it for.
So that line reflects that. Stipends. So we have, 2 firearms instructor stipends, 2 taser instructor stipends, 1 field training officer, and cell phone stipends. This, is a collective bargaining based on our staffing levels. That's the actual of what we need to cover next year.
Question,
It's,
firearms instructor and taser instructors, the same people?
they happen to be, yes.
Okay, thank you.
But
We also, we're gonna take that cell phone stipend for the chief out because the chief actually has a town issued cell phone.
Yes,
So
we reduced that already, I think.
we did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then we have there's another one for stipends. So we have a RAD instructor. Every year we've been doing a RAD class. We've been partnering with Rutland when we do that. Just, it's more of a benefit to the people taking the class. We have 2 instructors that are certified to do it. They can have somebody get in the suit and, they can practice what they've learned. So we've been doing that every year.
Yeah.
I don't know that, we definitely couldn't just do one in town here. We don't get enough interest, but by partnering with Rutland, we can get anybody that wants to in Hubbardston can do it for free. They can, and we've also allowed people from outside the 2 towns to join if space allows. So,
Still think you should do it for the high school kids.
we're working on it.
I know, I already brought that up.
So that's the actual number that we need to, it's more of an upkeep thing for these positions, for those certifications. The other stipends are just what they get paid for reading that. This is what we have to pay when they go to a school, for RAD to recert. So it's just the recertification in those, different, fields. Vehicle maintenance, so that's our fleet maintenance, oil changes, tires, detailing, car washing. It's not paying for detailing services. The officers are washing their own cars and they're, waxing them or whatever, but it's, just, everything that we need to do those things. That's what that line. I requested 14, we dropped it to 12. It also goes along with how new the fleet is. We have, the older the cruiser we have, the more money we're spending on repairs. So, trucks, this number represents just actually what we're paying for contracts. I'm sure we'll be looking into that a little more detailed than what the town's doing for copier services. But we tend to run pretty high. Just one arrest at the court is a stack of paperwork, and we have to make multiple copies and bring up, you know, so it's a lot. It's a lot of paper. And it can't be scanned if they need the originals. That's what.
How are they not electronic at this point for, seriously?
Some of the courthouses switched to it. Gardner just still hasn't.
Of course,
I'm not sure why, but they just haven't.
killing trees.
On the budget.
Not in the budget.
Great FCC license, the $300 license fee, we pay that every year. For the radios. Body worn camera program, we invested in that with a grant. We were able to save quite a bit of money when we started the program. Obviously, we need to pay this fee that's for the licensing fees, the upkeep of the equipment, everything that goes along with the program. It's the computer software. There's redaction software that takes out your face, or it automatically does it for us. It would be next to impossible to try to do that manually. So you really need that with it. So that number is what we have for the agreement with Axon for the body cams. This Power DMS, it's our policy and procedure management software. That is the actual number we have for the contract. It's policy and procedure. It's our scheduling platform that we use. We print off of that to do our payroll. It's all, like all our policy and procedures now digital. We had it in a binder. Now the officer can look at it on his phone and say, oh, what am I supposed to do in this situation if the time allows? I mean, that would be for something that just comes up out of the blue that they're not sure that they've ever dealt with it. They want to make sure that they're doing the right thing. They could call a supervisor, or if they have time, they could pull it off. And it would tell them what they need to, you know, the steps they need to actually take. So, really valuable software to have. It can help with certification and accreditation down the road if we go that. So, it's not something that we're paying for in that, but it does have that ability. Then the CGIS and computer maintenance and upgrades, that's our criminal justice information system that we use, that every agency uses. There's fees and there's money in there also for CMDs. There's updates or upgrades that we need to do. Training and testing. This one is, so all the training through the MPTC that is kind of mandated that we need to do. This covers the fees for all those classes and for the officers to attend the mandatory training that they have to do. The office supplies, pretty self-explanatory. It's mostly just office supplies. We didn't change that line. It's been at that. We probably increased it a little over time as prices have gone up, but that's that number there represents that. Uniforms through the collective bargaining agreement, officers get a uniform allowance. The full-time officers get $1,300. For part-time officers at $700, and then mine at $1,000 a year for uniforms. That's an actual number based on staffing. And then there's fees, firearms licensing fees, $1,000. That's enough to cover what the administrative fees that we end up having to pay for that. Body armor, this is a new line. We haven't previously budgeted for new body armor for the officers.
Do you have any now?
What's that?
Body.
Every
You have it?
officer has.
Okay.
So we have to
You're
replace
talking about the
that.
vests, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we need to replace that on schedule as they wear them.
Yeah.
Dirt, sweat, whatever, it breaks the material down. And they're not.
Can you even
as
wash
reliable.
those? Can you wash them?
You can't wash them till, yeah, the The Kevlar itself, you can't wash it. It breaks down with water and.
So that's just for the vest, not the plates, right?
So when they, the last ones we've done, it's Vantage Body Armor, they come in, they measure them. It's the inside of the vest, and then they have that outer carrier that they fit them for. They fit there is like a hard trauma plate in there, but it's not like I have ones in my house that are a ceramic plate that'll stop, like a rifle round. It doesn't have that in it. It's just a regular, it'll stop like a handgun, it'll stop some small arms. It's not like,
Yeah.
so I added that in the budget so that we can stay on schedule and not be surprised with, oh, we have to replace somebody's body armor and it's $1,500 every time we do it.
Yeah.
So having that in there is pretty beneficial. Ammunition and weapons, so the taser through Axon, we have the tasers. That is the contract fee, and then ammunition. Prices are gonna go up. They just, you know, like everything else. So the amount that we need to qualify every year and shoot and how many rounds, that number represents that.
You don't have it broken down between tasers and the ammo, the difference?
Yeah, $55.70 for taser and $4,000 for ammo.
Okay, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Thank you.
Specialized training and conferences, it's for our, International Chiefs of Police Association, Central Mass Chiefs of Police Association, Mass Chiefs. This number is for training and those conferences. In-state travel, $500, we've had that in there for a long time at $500. Typically, an officer goes to training, they'll take a cruiser, or if they don't, it's in the collective bargaining agreement that we need to pay them mileage rate if they have to take their own vehicle. So when it allows, I let them use a cruiser, because then we don't have to pay anything, but $500 is, I don't believe we've ever gone close to over that, but we've gone close to it, just haven't gone over it. The next line is memberships. That's for the actual memberships, the associations that I belong to.
You're expensive.
It's for Semlex.
Full membership, there's a group of you guys?
There is.
351 of them.
Really?
So there's Mass Chiefs, there's the Central Mass Chiefs, International Chiefs, and then Semlec is,
There's 3 groups.
Semlec does, they do SWAT, they do accident reconstruction, they have a drone unit, they do, so a lot of specialized services that we couldn't do as a department.
Yeah, you lean on.
Pay into that, it'll be a local officer from another department that comes out and does it. The state police does it too, but we've been finding more and more that using the state police, they're hours away.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
you know,
It's
there's
easier.
K-9, there's a lot of benefits to being a member of it. We can have officers specially trained in these things, and they can be on that unit as well. It benefits the town to have somebody that's trained in, you know, I think accident recon, something that would benefit us.
Okay.
That's it.
That's all.
That's all you got.
Any questions?
Does taser stuff ever go bad?
Yes.
It does.
So,
How are you?
yes, so we actually just got rid of, they're worth nothing when they're done. Like when we trade, so we have the X2, I believe it's the X2. I'm not teasing.
Okay,
I think we have the X2, we had the X26, we got rid of those.
yeah.
Somebody was just looking for them for a training thing, and I was like, there you
There you
go,
go.
they're useless, the cartridges are useless, the unit themselves
All you just like.
is, yeah,
Okay.
so. So we have a contract with Axon though, and they, like that includes getting new ones.
Okay.
Thing.
Look, it's a tight budget, as much as you might look at it and say, oh geez, look at that, it's up by X of a percent. This budget has been cut year after year after year, and, you know, he runs a pretty tight ship. you know, we've met probably 4 times and we've pressed every one of these lines and, it's hard. Most of these lines are contractually obligated and he has to, in good faith, support the contract and, you know, there's no money in here for a lot of the community programs that, you know, you would love to see in a town like this, or, you know, when we talk about, you know, the collective bargaining contracts for different regions, we don't have, you know, huge increases here. They're just, you know, cost of living and it's tough because this budget is up and, you know, it's one of the biggest departmental budgets, not the biggest. The guy in yellow over there has the biggest, but it's,
Throw them under the bus.
Put it into percentage wise this year, how much,
Yeah.
what's the percentage?
this is up by 12, little over 12%.
Thank you.
And, you know, most of these lines we've pressed, pretty hard and I'm begrudged to, you know, have to go back and have another conversation with the chief, but he knows that we're likely gonna have to have that conversation because the budget has to be balanced. So,
There's 3 weeks at the end of this fiscal year that I'm working patrol because we don't have the money.
So we get to go wrangle cows again,
Yeah.
when I call you?
But I'm not backfilling with an officer and I'm working patrol those 3 weeks.
Okay.
I'm not getting paid extra for that. That's what I need to do to get us to the finish line here. So, I know it does look like a large increase, but, it's needed.
That's a company man right there.
Yeah, let me know when those 3 weeks are. I'll go find some cows. Well, let her loose.
Might have to lock you up, Katie, just not bother.
Any other questions or comments for the chief? Okay,
Thank you.
thanks,
Thanks.
Ryan.
thank you.
Bob, you're up. Thank you. Bob, you also have a copy of what we are.
I have my copy because the one that was printed out, this one's mine's a little bit,
Page 30,
I guess it's about the same.
page 35 of
It should be
47.
the same unless Sean's made any.
Did nothing with it.
Yeah.
He didn't tell you.
So still, chief, 394, so 394. Your format is bigger and larger, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's smaller.
No, not on this, not on this.
That's because ours is bigger, because we're all blind.
Yeah, I think I have.
Oh, you got that.
But I'll work off the one that Christina gave me. So the first line, chief salary. Second's the captain salary. Of course, like, Sean said, CBA, he's full-time. There's no lieutenant's position. Next position, full-time firefighter EMT.
Excuse me, chief, but have we always not had a lieutenant, or does that just happen to be the way it is now?
We have 2 lieutenants on the call department, but not on full-time. There's nothing in the contract to support.
All right, thank you.
The same with the deputy's position that's listed lower. So full-time firefighter EMT position, and then there's the full-time firefighter paramedic position. And one more full-time firefighter EMT, so there's 4 total bargaining members. No deputy's position. Office clerk, we do not have. We're fortunate when I took over in 2008. Captain, well, he wasn't captain at the time, but Lieutenant Troy Casey, he does all the payroll and payables. I volunteered to do it, and then I think it's been quite a number of years now. He receives a $2,000 stipend for all that. So he saves us from having a secretary. Don't ever call him the secretary.
I'm guessing he would not like that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. He's excellent at his job.
Yeah.
Fire training supervisor, something new for this year that I put in there. It's just a $500 stipend to have somebody to oversee. As you see, we have somebody on the EMS side of things. We don't have anybody on the fire side of things, so organize training, teach the monthly training. So it was like an incentive for maybe somebody to take over that position. So we added that in. The sick leave, there's a note in there what they had in their CBA. I didn't want to put a dollar amount in there. We never had that in our budget before. So I left that blank, but that is what they get upon retirement.
So I-
Nobody would be retiring anytime soon.
I wanted to show that in the budget, just because it's a obligation that the town has in the collective bargaining agreement, and just because we're not appropriating money for it,
It still needs to be there.
it will come up, and you will have to come up with money to, pay that.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, they didn't have it in that contract at the time. They could buy back, have it bought back if they left in good standing, plus retirement. Jim Ayers left, and it was a substantial amount of money. The only place it could come out of was his salary line. So we had to forego hiring somebody, or he left in August. We couldn't entertain hiring anybody until like the end of December, because we had to cover his vacation, his sick back, buyback, and before, and that was the only way it could be funded, so.
So a way that we protect the town's operating budget and the function, the public safety function, is to put a stabilization fund aside through a warrant article that puts $25,000 to $50,000 aside for end of employment stabilization. So when you have an employee retire from any of the collective bargaining groups that have, let's say, they're not golden parachutes, they're probably bronze, but, that are able to buy some of their time out of the contract, they don't have to, not perform a level of service in your operating budget.
Okay, you're talking about the total is 25 grand and then we only fill it back up.
Yeah, when you need it. It might stay for, 5 years at 25,000. But the day you need it, you can go to that with approval from town meeting. Typically it's the finance committee approves it, the select board approves it, and it can be expended.
And that's always from the state.
On their holdovers, filling, shifts and, callbacks.
Check out.
Did we lose it? No,
Holiday pay covers these 12 holidays.
excuse me, chief, excuse me.
Yep,
I think we just lost our owl.
Yeah, it just made a sound, but the light went out too.
There we go.
Okay,
Okay.
that's fine, Christina, thank you. Sorry, chief, go ahead.
I actually thought a member of the board made that noise.
No,
I was like,
what's
no,
on
no.
here?
No, that, we've lived with this before.
Yes, the owl makes noise, makes a owl.
yeah, so holiday pay paid to the 4 bargaining members, to cover the 12 holidays. Uniform allowance, it's small things there, what they need is $2,500. The general understanding in the CBA is that we'll cover any of the things that they need. So some of the different lines where they need to turnout gear would come from that line. But this would be like just small, like uniform shirts and stuff like that. They get a cell phone stipend, the 4 of them, totals $800. There's a longevity stipend, which includes the 4 bargaining members and includes myself. EMS coordinator, that's $2,000 a year. That's Taylor's position. She oversees EMS from everything from people's certifications, making sure they're keeping up with their training, all the required paperwork that we need for our annual inspections, for the ambulances, all that stuff she oversees. Sunday shift coverage is 2 shifts. So the full-time staff covers, Monday through Saturday. Sunday is open, there's 11-hour shift, there's 2 of them. And call members or a full-time member can pick that shift up to cover it. Usually not so much at the full-time rate, that doesn't include them because it would come out of overtime, but it covers for 2 elite call members to cover that shift on Sundays. Vacation coverage. And one of the bargaining members are on vacation, that's where that funding is for. Call firefighter, EMT wages, that's for the call staff when they get there. 1 hour minimum for fires and 2 hour minimums for medical calls. Out of that line. EMS on-call stipend. This started a couple of years ago. It wasn't in the budget because it was kind of like, I guess you'd call it a pilot program. It was $15,000. We had started another stipend when people did come out to the ambulance and it wasn't fully staffed. If they did come out and staff it, they would get $50. Those two have been blended together for that $16,200. So the bulk of that is now, they can sign up for 4 shifts a month. They cover from 10 o'clock at night to 7 in the morning. It's $50 to sign your name up saying you'll respond to any call. And they get their $50 if there's a call or no call. And then if there is, they come out and then they get their minimum rate when they respond, whether it's a fire or an EMS call. Which it has had some success so far over the last couple of years. I think this will be the 3rd year and it's in effect. We do, as everybody knows, have trouble staffing the overnights. But with this, we usually get, some weeks we can get, 2 to 3 nights that are covered. Some weeks are tough, especially start getting into summertime. But it has helped, and I think that's kind of reflected in the ambulance revenue going up also. Training wages, that covers our monthly department for the call guys when they come back for training, which we have a 2-hour fire based training and EMS training monthly. Then we're on to building expenses. So let's see, yeah, that line covers all the actually bigger items that weren't broken out of there. The electricity for Station 1, dumpster, supplies, all the stuff to maintain the stations. We did break out the internet this year. It's new, so it has its line of 4,400. Heating oil. Usually it was mixed in, but it's 5,500. Years past, that wasn't, it's always been around 5,000. A few years ago, that building down, it's for just Station 1. The building was insulated. They got some grant funding, which helped out. So that saves money to go somewhere, some other places. But now this year, we're gonna be over that 5. So who knows what's gonna happen with that, but. Vehicle maintenance, 17,000. We use that every year. And some years we come up short and things have to wait until the following year. That's basically just all the repairs on all the vehicles that we have. A couple of years ago, that was funded at $21,000, went down to 15, and then it's back to 17. Below it is some items that we normally haven't funded the last couple of years because we haven't had the money for it, because it was lumped in with the vehicle maintenance. So I needed to add on to that, and they were bigger items, so we broke them out. So the annual pump testing for the fire apparatus is just a little over $1,600. We need tires for one of the ambulance is next year, $3,100. Annual ladder testing, around $800. And then our air packs, flow tested, and $1,700.
What is ladder testing?
I was about to ask that
So-
same question.
Basically, the company comes out, looks at it, and makes sure that the integrity of the ladder is where it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not your ladder at your house to paint, it's to rescue people. We've never, I think maybe once in my career, we've tested ladders, but NFPA says you're supposed to test them every year. Do they wait? We know.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, they do like, yeah, they put weight, they check and make sure the welds are intact and then they're signing off. Certifying, but yeah, it's a life safety device, so with anything like that, but it's something we don't do because we don't have the funding for it, so.
So this is part of the zero-based budgeting, when we sit down with department heads and say, look, what do you need? What's critical to the mission? These are pretty standard, line items, and the last thing you want is to have, an old Yankee town trying to get the best mileage out of everything, and you put a ladder up and it's 25 years old and it has a failed weld and somebody.
Now it's a lawsuit.
It's a liability.
It's not that, it's like, it could be
Yeah.
a life or death situation.
Yeah, you can't gamble with safety.
And those are the things, you just don't wanna wake up in the middle of the night thinking, were we not good enough at budgeting to actually have a line item that supports mission critical stuff?
Tires, ladders, CBA flow, water hole maintenance. We have over 50 sites in town. A lot of them have, PVC piping, so it's a dry hydrant. We don't have municipal water, so we don't have real hydrants, so we draft from them. It gives us the luxury of hooking up a little bit quicker. With that, they're a pain because with runoff and everything, they get clogged with leaves. Water levels go down, the pipes freeze. So we've had money in the past, that was taken away. There are ones out there now that have cracked heads on them and stuff. You need to hire somebody to dig them up. So that's where this money's coming from. So that's a separate line this year in the budget. A lot of times we can find some, contractors in town that'll help us out and maybe even DPW on occasion. What was that, eye roll?
Yeah, he was like, what now?
Just trying to make it look.
It's all cost cut, getting it all, come on, work together, people.
Oh, safe coordinator, that's Taylor's position, stipend $500. That's for the teaching, organizing safe programs, going to the school and also going through the pain of putting in the grant paperwork for the safe and senior safe grants. Medical supplies, covers the supplies for the 2 ambulances, my vehicle. We help out the PD a little bit with their medical supplies also. 15,200. Ambulance professional services, covers. Some of it's been taken out and put into its own line, so that's why it's reduced from the line to the 6,615. The number that's in here now covers our software for our patient care reports, that we need to do after every, call. Annual maintenance, training software for our EMTs, ambulance licensing, it's $1,000. FDA license, $300. CLIA laboratory waiver, it's $240. We have glucometers so we can take blood sugars on the ambulances. To say that we're not a laboratory, we need to pay the federal government through the state, $240. So that, and I have to think, I'm the laboratory director, it's in the board, in the hallway, that we're not a laboratory conducting laboratory testing. It's a waiver.
Chief,
But if you
what's the ambulance license?
the state, so we had, it's,
Is that the
500.
vehicle or the
It's
drivers?
for the vehicle, it's for the 2 vehicles and the service stuff.
And is it yearly?
Yeah, $1,000 every year.
Okay.
So ridiculous.
Yeah,
So we get,
so yeah, every year they come in,
so ridiculous.
the inspector from the state comes in, they look at the vehicles, the equipment, make sure all the service agreements are being conducted, the equipment's being maintained.
Thank you for the $1,000.
Yes.
Look at, all the credentials of everybody, their training to make sure everything's up to date, so that's where that fee.
Thank you.
That should be, yeah, fall upon your job, not the state to come in to do it. Yeah, anyway.
Oh, Johnson.
Yeah, I know. No, it's called the state just needs more money.
I'm sure the state has.
Well, I mean, if you look at it though, if you didn't have somebody start to cut corners, and in the fire side of things, EMS based, we would be probably forced to do some of those things. But if you get into the private sector, not to my fellow colleagues around, but when you're more, you're doing it for a profit, that's when you cut corners and run vehicles that need to be replaced.
You don't have to
You
look
need a
far
watchdog.
to see, just in the last, few years, there's been some recent scandals, about compliance and certification, falsification, and it's something that has to be regulated.
This is the world we live in.
Yeah, so some of those things that, are broken out of that number, for this year in a new line, cardiac monitor, AEDs, and then the, Lucas CPR machine. The annual contract for that is $6,445. That covers everything from batteries to service to anything that might go down, with it, software wise. We'll get on to, Comstar billing.
Yeah.
Yep, so Comstar billing is another one of those numbers that were broken out, but that larger number, it's one of the numbers that's gone up. Usually in the past, I budget around $12,000 to $13,000 a year. It's above that, it's projecting to be 6,000. The good thing about that is on the flip side of that, the reason why it's going up is because we're collecting more revenue. So we're projected right now to be just around 250,000, which is 40,000 up from the previous fiscal year, so. Which if you take that, subtract that to the department budget, it gives me a budget around $400,000, making us one of the biggest departments, cheapest budget.
I'm pretty sure that was just throwing you under the bus again. Got a target over there, sir.
Office supplies.
It'll be served up.
They had to combine their budgets to try to come close.
You wouldn't see it, you didn't have high bids on it.
Anyway,
Office supplies.
Supplies, $500. Fire hose, that's just a number in there. Usually it's lumped into one of the other maintenance accounts. $1,000. That really doesn't do much. That'll buy you a few lengths of 1.75" hose, some brush hose, but not a lot. So that's basically if you have some hose that burns up at a brush fire or some blowout or some really old stuff. You're not doing much with $1,000, but it's there. Protective clothing, $5,500. That buys you probably one set. We just bought some coat and pants, just a little over $4,000. You're talking $400 or $500 helmet. Same for boots, gloves. So it's about $5,500. So if you replace one set, then we can't hire somebody new. So basically, this is for one new person here for replacement.
you guys flip coins or how do you like, what do you, like seriously?
Well, so there are things where we forego, like we just, unfortunately, we had two guys come in, they wanted to join the department, we got them into the program. Really couldn't afford the gear, or we made it work. And then he just dropped out a week into it, so it's unfortunate, those things happen. The gear's still good, we have it, we gotta
Okay.
find somebody.
You find you have to be this size
Yes.
to work here.
Yeah, they can be altered within a certain, reasonable amount, but yeah. So yeah, it's tough. There is, like some kid came in, this week and he wants to join. I said, yeah, maybe we'll talk at some, because we have no funding. So,
Yeah, this is the end of this.
yeah. Additional line for equipment and repairs, it's for like small equipment and stuff, pumps that, or if we don't use that funding, then if we can buy a new piece of equipment, that usually it doesn't happen, we usually are stuck just repairing stuff. $5,000 in that line, and then the final line, for a couple of things, the APCAM Association, it's a Fire Chiefs Association that I'm part of. Get some training benefits out of that, plus I get a little bit of coverage out of it. District 8 Mutual Aid Association dues, $750, you're part of the group. There's training opportunities, utilizing the mutual aid services, a lot of benefit to that. They also pursue as a whole, as a group for, bigger grants, like maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, we got gas meters. And it was the whole district, because it's a district wide grant. So it's a good benefit to be part of that. And you really don't have any choice. Right. And I think I covered it.
Yes, you did.
Questions?
I was asking, I don't want to play.
I was asking on the way.
Yeah.
Anybody? No, thank
No,
you.
Chief, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I've said this a few times to the chief, it continues to impress me the number of paramedics that we have on the department, the level of not basic BLS care, it's advanced life care. And so when you kind of think about, what you get for, this budget and, for a fire department budget, to come in and,
Looking for the page
yeah.
26.
$657,000. It's quite a value. And I know the chief jokes around about, the 400,000 ambulance revenue, but that's general fund revenue. That comes into the general fund for the town, and it does help quite a bit. So appreciate the work on it, and I know it's not easy putting together a zero-based budget and putting in the detail here, but
No, it was really a tale of two
I know.
parts of my brain. How we're wired in Hubbardston, it's level fund cut. Oh, you're getting a 2% increase this year. Oh, great. And now doing this, and Sean's like, no, you gotta put it in. I'm like, you're just gonna cut it out anyways.
Maybe,
But it
but
was,
it puts the DNA into the budget document that says, this is, what won't get cut is the department request. That number will stay, and hopefully it reminds the elected officials that this is what you thought you needed to fund your budget, based on a zero-based budget. Obviously, financially, every year changes, the elected officials ultimately have to make the recommendation to town meeting, but at least they have the benefit of the detail. And they can do their best to support the, function of the departments that are in the town. But
yeah, it was a good exercise. And at the end of it, going through it is like how we made it through the last couple of years. Like, I just like seeing these numbers and I'm like, and then it's like putting this together and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about X, I forgot about Y, and I'll put it in, and now the overall budget number keeps going up, but it's like, yeah, we've been survival mode, definitely the last couple of years. I mean, this year, we're coming to the end of the budget season. Yeah, we had hit a wall. Yes, now, so, we're gonna make some more magic happen, so see if we can make it through.
there's no magic here. No magic.
So,
Thank you.
Must be.
speaking of magic, any bites on that truck?
Yeah, one person asked some questions about it, but
Well, it's better than none, right?
yeah, it only went out on Tuesday. There was the rep, there was one page that needed to be signed, it wasn't. So it actually went out, because he gave me last week, you could click on a link and you could see the whole setup and everything with the information.
So what
It
side,
was,
what side is that on again?
garage,
Garage.
yeah. So yeah, one person so far, but he followed it up with, have you had anybody else interested in it? So I don't think he's that interested, but, I didn't answer him back on that.
It's only got 11 other people looking at it.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.
Thanks, chief.
Travis, you're up. Those are in the, you want to be on page 26,
Yes.
on page 20 out of 47.
Yeah.
Yeah, they paid what?
26 of, out of 47 is,
So that's it.
Yeah.
This thing worth. See?
so it's closer to the front.
Well, they do it. Do you want to be right here?
Trev, we're gonna start with your prior budget, so.
Yeah, this of everything all into.
It's a lot of lines in your prior budget.
Thank you.
Yep.
How'd you get all those lines? I only had a couple in mine.
I broke it down even more than that, but I didn't break my paper.
So this is the budget that we had in Vadar, but this wasn't what was presented to town meeting, but we used Vadar to actually build the departmental budget. We'll get into your FY 27 budget.
It has cemetery supplies and no cemetery personnel, sorry. Alright, where's that? Cemetery supplies, all $3,000, what that is. Alright, so you can see what my budget, guess what, it's there. DPW director, sure for being the facilities department manager now. My administrative assistant, which took on a lot more duties. Increase there for 25 hours and pay also for that. The rate you see there for the DPW mechanic, CBA, he had longevity last year. So he's up past what, if you looked at the CBA, it would normally be, so he's 2% higher. Rate, the base rate, I got 4, that will be at the 26 an hour. Overtime rate for the 4 is 39 at 160 hours, 62.40. These are all increases of 2% of the CBA that you're seeing there, so that's includes your overtime and regular time. The sick incentive, it's always been there. They don't use any sick time within 4 months. You get a vacation day, so they can earn up to 3 vacation days a year, but not using any sick time. That's part of the CBA also. The step increase, which we just, again, I believe last year, we just got that into the contract, which I feel was a good thing to have for people and a little more incentive for people to stay and for new people starting and people that have been here a while still be at the same rate as someone that just started. So it was a good thing to put in there. Wages, rates, part-time cemetery help, usually have 2 a year. That is their rates for this year. And they take care of all the cemeteries, Slade Building 48, Clark's Corner, Slade Building, the little median down Main Street, they mow that too. And at times they help us at the rec field. So they do quite a bit. Their spring, fall cleanup also. Wage rates for the part-time cemetery clerk. It's in my budget, I quite honestly, I don't see the time card or anything like that. It's just always been in my budget, but that's what it's been.
Commissioner clerk.
Yeah, it's choice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had mentioned that their stipend, full-time staff, but that's all the boot allowance. That's all CBA, boot allowance ×6, license renewals. Continuing eds for the hydraulics license, DOT card renewal, cell phone stipend.
480.
Because they use their cell phones they get $100 in the beginning of the year to use their cell phones. Between radios not working at times, and a lot of times it's quicker to do that. That's what uniforms, everyone must stay there for a year to get 6 months. They get uniforms. So
Safety training,
Yeah, where are you? Hold on.
on the
I'm
bottom of the
lost.
page, safety training.
Okay,
that's
Yeah, cell number
No.
299.
that real stuff. Safety training, and professional development. So that's all the
Okay.
training that the guys and myself go to for snow and ice, gravel roads, paving, anything that chainsaw, education, safety, all that stuff. Anything that new that comes out, we do flagger, first aid is on that also. But there's always something new, always something, so that's where all that training comes from. Also, my memberships come out of that with the Worcester County Highway Association and Association. Clothing allowance, so they get 5 shirts, sweatshirt, winter jacket, and a vest a year. Some don't take the coat because some don't wear it as much and they don't want it, so I don't spend that all the time. A lot of the DBW cell phones, the company phones, so I've already taken it out. I have a company phone, so I will be passing that number around because it won't be my regular phone.
So this isn't, it's not there, this, cell phone?
no, it's there. He's
It's there.
saying he got a.
They were giving me the 50 before and I, a month ago, got the company phone and
Cost us $40 too.
so essentially taxes and everything's whatever. The on-call stipend, CBA. So 52 at 150, so each person gets $150 a week for being on call, plus time and a half for being called in. For CBA on that. Each one gets, that's a cell phone, it's like, already did the annual bucket truck, so that's the one that we share between Rutland, Berry, Auburn, Paxton, Rutland, so, and ourselves. So
How is that number arrived at between us and the other community?
the $1,000.
Yeah,
$1,000 was always been that way since we put it together. It was like a grant that got us a bucket truck and a chipper to go with it. And it was to bring towns together to use it, so the town wasn't buying all of that. So the $1,000 goes towards maintenance, anything for the bucket. There's been times where it's been well over that. Quite honestly, I would see that going up pretty soon because it's well deserved. Because, they do supply the cones and stuff on the truck. It has been neglected because it hasn't done much money in it, but for $1,000 to have it, I think, about 9 weeks, you get it a year, so it's pretty good. We cut down a lot of stuff that, we don't have the money to have a tree company come in to do, so we have bucket truck training also that comes from that.
I got you.
Good.
Thank you.
That's cheap.
Very cheap. Outside building repairs, electrical, that's all the stuff that we do for the DPW. It's in my budget for that, 5260. Annual catch basin, I had it at 26, it was 20. We weren't cleaning, I believe I put that in there, we weren't cleaning all the basins in town. Shows you the difference of what I needed, but didn't get it. Line painting, we have 21,000 in there, I asked for 25. Get that, but we're not painting all of the lines in town. So, that is why I asked. The motor oil, lube, grease, it's all the lubricants we use in the shop for us and other vehicles. Rental equipment, hiring contractors. A beaver person that controls beavers that are out of control or flooding roads,
Nobody wants them out of control.
yeah. Out of control beaver, that's what that is. The lights, trash, water, and cable. I believe that's all for the DPW itself. Culvert pipes, that's, we have, extra pipe, different sizes. On hand for emergency purposes, in case one fails, which we just had one fail the other day on Williamsville Road. Materials for painting bridge railings. You actually have some paint the green on the railings that you have around town for the bridge rails. Winter full cap, more or less, winter repair. That's what 8,500 is for. Winter patch, cold patch is it's much more expensive. It's like double of what hot patch is a year. So I try to do as little with the cold patch, and then as soon as they have hot patch, I go for that.
Oh,
So
yeah, I've seen them out and about, like almost all the time.
the cold patch I'm using now is a more permanent patch. It's not the standard cold patch that you use to see fallout. It actually will stay on a bit longer, especially if you repair it longer. Better, sorry. The fuel and gasoline, diesel, that's, this money here is actually, I don't know why it's only 5, but the contingency, it gets divided up between the bill, the departments. It pays for all the certificates that it needs for the station. Right now, I'm running into a large repair for the gas side of the gas boiling system. It also is the software, yearly software that we do for the gas boiler also, which breaks it down. Everybody's got a code. It'll tell you how many gallons, time, who, what department. So it's pretty well, I could break it all down, which I pretty much did here. So the police department, gasoline, police doesn't use any diesel, so they're around 10,800 so far this year. Was this the year, was this right now, or was this the year before? I don't know, like, the number in here.
I asked you for the
I had
data.
you're right, but I had like 3 or 4 years for that.
Okay, so
So
we'll have to look at it and get back to you.
This seems incredibly inexpensive for
Fuel.
fuel, given the current market conditions. And this is in what time frame did you say, Travis?
this might be like where we are right now, at the end of the year. This also doesn't, mind you, I just got fuel before the gas pumps went down. And I got about $4,000 or $5,000 fuel that I ordered. But
So how much are you paying? Are you paying less? Like,
I
for-
pay much less than you guys.
Yeah.
do. I'm paying like
Sorry.
under $3, I think, for gas and $4.
So one of the other
Mine's
things
all
that
left.
we can consider is having a utility or gas stabilization fund that you put aside, you put $25,000 in that fund. And if your budget increases because of reasons beyond your control, like a war in Iran, you can go back to a special town meeting, have that appropriated, or get language that allows the finance committee and the select board, with the select board's approval, to allocate some of those dollars to supplement your operating budget, because, you can't budget based on
Yeah,
these
you have no idea.
anomalies. Don't try to, you try to get in there and say, how many miles do we travel a year? How many gallons do we need a year?
Yeah.
Depends what you're paying.
After 5 years, you're gonna know, within 20% of, like, you're gonna be within that, usage. That's the benefit of having a detailed budget. You know, after 5 years, what the average is. And you budget around the average and you take a few other data points to get your budget right.
Makes sense.
That's it. You know, we can nickel and dime this and still never get it right
No.
because we don't know what the future is gonna hold.
Okay, so these are the
Not
numbers.
only that, I'm not keeping a couple gallons. I mean, you gotta have hundreds of gallons
Right.
in
Yeah.
reserves. I mean, if I didn't have what I had and how I order it, and when we had that shortage there, when we had an issue with diesel and everything else, I mean, we would have been hurting
Yeah.
as a town in general.
Well, same thing with like salt and stuff, you order it in advance, so that way you don't get
Exactly,
bags
we would have been
with,
hurting as other towns.
yeah,
were.
that were.
You
putting
don't
stuff
order it
out.
when it's snowing.
Yeah, you get it, yeah, but there was plenty of other towns this year that had messages being out there that we're going to be cutting back on our salt and stuff like that because of snow and ice and the salt can't come.
Yep.
We weren't one of them, luckily.
We had the fire department, coming in around 5,700. And DPW coming in around 15,000. The parks gasoline, which is the mowing and stuff that goes on there, about 500. The cemetery usage, which is mowing the cemeteries, weed whack and all that stuff, just under 7. The mark, which I do have a question. It's with this mark, because they do pay us back, and I was told that was supposed to go back into the budget again like this, but I heard it, I don't know where. So,
Does it,
General fund.
just curious.
so if it goes in the general fund, that shouldn't be on there then, right?
No, it
No,
can,
it's showing.
you have
what
to
the
gross appropriate every expenditure
Oh,
you make
okay.
every year,
Oh,
and you can,
alright.
show the revenue in your
Okay.
local receipts.
Well, if it goes into the general fund, it's not going back in my budget, so it has to show what they're using to have in my budget
Right.
Yeah.
to support it.
But that should be in the note, just say, look, you know, with the Mark reimburses the town for the, you know, gasoline that it uses.
The PA gasoline usage was in his contract or something for what it was, but that's why it was there.
That should just be, you know,
No.
No, that was,
Hundred's fine.
it should, 100's probably too much, but it should be, it should be a town, you know, general town vehicle for town staff.
Honestly, right now, it's been used for people with trainings that have gone and have done that. I mean, while it was sitting here, I had grabbed it and used it down to DPW if we had to go into the city and I didn't have to take one of my
Yeah.
trucks or
oh,
something.
you're talking about the black car?
Mel,
Okay, so,
she's leaking.
Okay.
out of it.
Fish tank.
So
Oh.
anyways, I mean.
the hot tub,
hole in the
Yeah.
hot tub time machine in the back.
So office supplies, my department with the printer ink and stuff like that, 1,400. DPW equipment, parts and supplies. This line here, I am over, I know for a fact this
Which,
year.
where are we at?
41,000.
323.
Parts and shop supplies?
Yeah, so the equipment, their parts, everything has just gone crazy this year, so I mean, quite honestly, it's not much in that, for what, I got 50 vehicles that we take care of. It's
Only 50,
only,
only. Now, you do the oil changes and stuff on like the police cars and all that stuff, you guys do
yeah, it's
all that?
like, anything is, they.
You do it on fire trucks?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, they
Okay.
bring them down.
Okay. Tire rotation? Okay, just checking.
None of the big trucks.
Now? Oh, you saw the DPW.
Year-round heating oil from DPW. 6,000, the hot mix, as I was saying before, the hot mix, what we also do with this, and there was that amount of money in there was because in the summertime, we would do a lot of repairs before winter came, and it would save us on cold patch, so.
Can I ask you a question, Trev? And can we go back to the heating oil?
Yep.
Have you ever, how come we don't have a waste oil burner down there for the
I
garage?
don't produce, we don't produce enough oil for it.
You don't?
We looked into it, they're expensive for cleaning too, they're not like just throw something in and go. I
No,
mean, it's a
yeah.
lot of cleaning
I understand.
that needs to be, I don't produce enough.
It'd be like a garage. They're a garage, but not a garage like that's doing massive oil changes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for our trucks, once a year. And I just do that for peace of mind, for the big trucks,
Change the fluid?
right before the winter time,
Yeah.
everything gets changed.
Yeah.
You know, and we do it right for inspection, which is in November. Everything gets inspected at one time when the company comes
Makes
in.
sense.
Then
Yeah,
Everything.
everything fiscal, responsible.
You don't drive it down to TJ's like Gardner does?
We used to. We do if there was something, you
Something's
know,
wrong.
that didn't pass or whatever, but they've been good.
Okay.
Materials used for dirt roads and streets, so, you know, like the hard pack gravel, the riprap, the raz, 3/4 stone, all the material we use for the sides of the roads or on the road, that comes out of that budget right there. That last year, well, that lines in general was great. I think he took out 23,000, I got 13 back and I just had 1850.
Yep.
1850, yeah,
You didn't get what you wanted.
yeah,
You didn't get what you wanted.
for sure, but.
Road names.
So yeah, so those are like my stops and signs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That we use for the roads, the police details. Advertising, we do procurement, a lot of that. I haven't been using. I've been looking for other alternatives, which I use OSD and then I use Central Register, which I don't have to pay for, so. And I don't get the advertising in two places, so it saves me there.
Okay.
I had to jump in, I had to use some of that this year when I had to do the culvert. Streetlights, and the rec field, so that money comes from. Outside contractor, plow Mile Road, it's always plowed Mile Road, if anybody knows Mile Road. Is into Barry and back again to get to, so we have a separate private contractor that takes care of us very well. And allows that road for us to go out there with one of our trucks. It's just, be taking us off of main drag. It's just not time consuming. So the diesel usage, for the DPW, $24,000. And the fire for winter is 22. My winter diesel, as you can see in this line here, supplies for the winter, that is my road salt, that's winter parts, that's winter gravel, which we use on dirt roads when we need to use it. Brine and the brine consortium, plus the repairs for it too. So it's just like the bucket truck, we pay, I guess it's $1,000, and then if there's any other repairs that need to be done to it, it comes out of winter.
Yeah, it's that thing we share with like 3 towns, right?
Just Winchton and Temple.
How's that
Okay,
working out?
so 3 towns total.
Good, this year we didn't use too much of it
Yeah,
because it didn't call for it.
yeah.
You know, if they called for it, we'd have it. I just got some free brine from Westminster. He asked me if I wanted it. It's actually treated brine,
Yeah.
2,000 gallons.
Oh, nothing wrong with that.
Give
They're
them all
really
the brine.
nothing, so I'll take it.
I know a guy. Hold on.
Why didn't they want it?
Yeah, like,
Because they're filling the tanks with calcium to run on the dirt roads.
so
I
you
have
need to
separate
get rid
tanks.
of it.
Down at the shop that I use for summer, winter, so I have 3,000 gallon brine tanks that I use for just brine. And then I have another tank that has my additive to add to the brine to bring down the freeze point of that. And then I have another tank that's for my winter for doing dust control on dirt roads in the summertime. So what I did was I took an external tank that we're gonna put into a truck that was sitting out on Jersey barriers, and I filled that up with the other brine, so I could use another tank,
When in doubt,
but it's all useful. Get it, like,
you like turn it into a little.
You got
hoarder
it for the
down
right
there.
price.
call me up, so I'll find it.
I wouldn't say no.
Man, that's all I got.
My stipend, we have, for 8,000. I watch my hours, I get, add them up every year. I'm here with the guys that are here. If it's plowing, I'm here. And that's 24, whatever amount of time it is, it's me, and that's not overtime, that's not even regular time.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I know you're plowing. I've been stuck behind you multiple times.
don't pass me.
I can't. It's like this ginormous plow that's doing like 20 miles an hour down 68. Like, oh, Travis, just a little bit faster.
Yeah. So the winter wages for the mechanic, you see 43, 49. Those are the overtime, and then the overtime wages for the rest of the staff is 39 an hour. Or, I have 2 part-time on-call plow drivers that I use. So, that's 2 at $20. They drive our vehicles. Cemetery equipment maintenance, it's. That's their trimmer string, plow blades, anything that has the, mower blades, the wheels for the decks for the mowers, anything that has to do with the mowers or blowers, the repair and comes out of that 1,500 now, which is good. Part-time cemetery help.
Didn't we already go over this?
No.
Yeah, so the part-time cemetery help, mowing, trimming. I said twice.
Oh, you getting extra money in your budget? What's going on?
Trust me, there ain't no extra money.
There's 23,000 we get back.
Yeah, there we go. We're finding more money as we go. I don't know, didn't we already? I
We
thought.
already
no?
went over these, but it's gotta be in here twice. Cause I know we went over it.
In the beginning.
Yeah, or cent.
All the
part-time
people were at the
cemetery help. It's the same number.
It's in there twice.
So it's in there, there we go. We found
All
23,000.
right,
We're cooking with gas now.
sorry, Trav.
Your budget just dipped.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said that.
Oh, the cemetery collection day too.
Yeah.
There you go. Twice.
You just cost yourself 23K.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't ask.
Police department will take.
Yeah.
You got enough.
I need it. Put it in the fuel.
You probably want more stipends over there too.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, the budget is not balanced, it's 200.
Yeah, we understand.
Yeah, we got $1 million of unpaid taxes. It's balance right there.
Well,
That-
yeah.
That would help us a lot, but you have to budget money in this,
Go get it.
budget to go after it.
Yep.
And there is money in this budget to go after that
Okay.
$1.1 million.
So I got one more part here. So
Uh-oh.
the Department of Public Works has the largest asset in town, which is the roads. The DPW provides professional quality maintenance, repair, and construction services while maintaining 82 miles of streets, 8 miles of dirt road, 1 playground, recreational field, and the Hubbardston cemeteries, which there are many of them. The DPW is also responsible for the ongoing maintenance of municipal buildings, over 50 municipal vehicles, and pieces of equipment. Additionally, the DPW is responsible for rapid response to all snow, ice, and other inclement weather emergencies and conditions. The DPW enforces streets and drainage bylaws, grant petitions of location for utilities, maintains engineered records and town maps with town clerk. Lastly, the DPW plays a significant role in the daily operations of other town departments in responding to requests for everyday and emergency service.
Feel better now?
On that red.
Still can't have the 23,000.
Nice job, Trav.
Thank you, Travis. Next, Tricia, you're here for the library, I'm assuming?
Yeah, she's been waiting patiently.
No, I know, so that's page 42 out of 47,
42,
yeah. Nice to see you, Trish.
There we go.
I'm gonna do my best. My boss is in New Zealand.
Mm.
So currently having,
She's having fun.
no problem. Very short.
Now, do you have the same copy we do?
I just took Travis's copy, so
Okay,
it's very small.
it's page 42 out of 47 is where mine says library.
Did she have the big?
There might be one up there.
Okay. We have the big blind people one.
Which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Very-
So going blind,
Yeah,
fine.
so you need the big blind people one.
Oh,
Boy. Yeah, so see, these big blind people one.
You wanna borrow my glasses?
Yeah,
no, I would contact them, but apparently that doesn't even help.
no, you want the
All
readers?
right, so, here we go, you ready? All right, library, director's salary stays pretty much the same.
Mhm.
Assistant librarian, that is Anne. Not only does Anne and I do what our normal job function is, we are also the school's library. So between Anne and I, we and Chris sometimes cover the school classes that come over. We're seeing more and more school classes every year because MCAS is no longer a graduation requirement. More teachers are having more time freed up during the school year to come over and visit the library. They're there for anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour. We would love to be able to do more with them, but we have to work within the budget allows. However, there is now, it's sitting in Christina's email, but I have a letter from the school saying we are the school library, so we are going to try to go for school library grants. Yay. We'll see. Storytime lead, aye. It stays the same. Just keep in mind, we are opening up the lower level. We're going to need coverage for the upstairs and the downstairs coming up.
Can you, what did you say? You said that you are,
Storytime lead and program coordinator.
no, the library is the library for
For
the
the
school?
school,
For the
but yeah,
school, we
Hubbard's
receive
Center
no
School,
funding from the school to be the school library.
Why?
because they don't have a library.
They don't have a library. They were down 93,
Right.
I do believe.
So you're unofficially the library for the school.
It was made official by a lovely letter that I received from the Quabbin Regional School District.
Why isn't Quabbin Regional School District funding the library?
That is a question that Rosemary Southwick has for the school as well.
They're doing us a favor. And I'm gonna flip that switch because by writing that letter, we can go after grant money because now we are officially the town,
That's
the school
all
library. They don't have to have it. They don't have to have
Yeah.
library.
I know, I actually don't think it's a bad thing. It's just a question of, you know, are we supporting additional programming operationally? Does it put additional
I
you know,
understand what you're
pressure
saying.
on
Yeah.
the civic budget for educational purposes, and
Yeah.
that's where you have to, you know, have an accounting of that, because you can't commingle, you know, school, you know, operations, regional school operations with, you know, municipal.
No, but they can also rescind the letter.
I haven't seen the letter. I don't know.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
but they never contacted anybody to talk about it. They just went and did it.
Yeah.
That's not being a good neighbor.
Well,
So if they rescind the letter, we're in no worse of a position than we are
no,
right now.
except we can't
We've
go
got
after
everything,
grant money.
we've got everything to gain and nothing to lose.
That's right.
Can you take that one?
I will take it. They put up.
I'm just saying that we can't go
Sorry.
after grant money if they.
Patty, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Anyway.
Longevity, Chris has been here, since 2006. So that stays the same. Energy and utilities. Again, it stays the same, even though, we're not taking into consideration the current global temperature of all of that. So, we do have the, mini splits. We did see that they kicked on quite a bit this winter to help supplement, which was very helpful. And it's nice to have air conditioning in a building from the 1840s in the summer, let me tell you. We actually used it as a cooling center a lot this past year. I saw probably an uptick in my story time because we had air conditioning.
So I just want to go back to the longevity.
Yes.
It's just interesting. I mentioned this, when I met with, the director. We have longevity in the police and fire, DPW contracts. We really don't have it in the, library budget. There's $100 here for somebody that has worked for the town for over 20 years.
Thanks for saying.
Part-time, and,
Yeah.
director who's doing probably,
That's what I'm saying. That's
so
why I said
it's
it
just
that
like from a policy level, this is a board conversation. Might be helpful to, think about how to have longevity for non-union employees, and have some funding in the budget that would help, help the board create a policy to say, if you work for the town for 3 years, or 5 years, or 7 years, or 10 years, you get a level of longevity to just recognize your service. I feel like Chris, the director here, has poured her life into this town, and certainly other employees have as well, but we just don't have that standard, so.
Now they're all
I
complaining.
know.
Now they're convincing.
But, for me, it's like when you see the line item budget and you can see where your CBAs call for longevity. Look, we can address that inequality and try to come up with a standard for every employee.
Okay, so National Grid, we're expecting if we have another long hot summer, it's going to jump significantly with the mini splits.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, save money, put him in his place.
Yeah, save money for the mini splits, but hey, I have to say,
AC.
it was really nice to have AC in that building.
Yeah, but what you might save in the summer with those tall ceilings, the heat.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
But we are looking into replacing the lights in the children's room, which are obviously not energy efficient in any way, shape, or form. Any of the lights in the library are not energy efficient, so we are looking into that coming out.
Grant money?
I'm working hard, okay?
No,
It's only so many grants.
Lights, the fixtures want, if you swap the fixtures, I was.
Do the whole building if you're gonna do it,
Well,
the grant.
Trying. Okay, repairs and maintenance, electrical work, plumbing, boiler, pipes cleaning and maintenance, staying the same. We just had the pipes and the boiler all looked over. We had some pinholes this past winter, which caused the ceiling to collapse in the basement.
Great.
That was a fun cleanup. Don't suggest wet ceiling tiles for anyone. Professional and technical specialized skills and knowledge services. So that is just all of our training, fire protection, annual contract for hosting the website, boiler inspection licenses for Overdrive, Libby, all of that is dropped into that $1,000. Communications, that's the printing, the mailing, the postage, the shipping. We asked for 101 and you took $1 away.
I actually,
but that's some brutal.
I want round numbers. I don't want pennies. I took pennies away. I took the 50
That's
cents
fine.
away. Everything is either zeros, fives, or.
Right above it is 1,088.
I know, I'm sorry.
And below it is 1,331.
I didn't get to all of them, but
Okay. Just
I'm
saying.
going to get to all of them.
Oh,
Tighten it up.
It's just, I want round numbers.
okay.
It just goes to show you just how detailed some of the department is.
We're gonna round down.
I always.
Of course he rounds down. He's a TA. Like, duh.
To be fair though,
a lot of, if we have any extra expenditures that come out of the donation,
Mhm.
which is not municipally funded. Overdrive licenses, so this one is Libby. This is our big ticket item. This is one of our most used items. Libby is what is Kindle Unlimited to Amazon. However, this is free for our patrons with library card. They can get their books. It is probably our most used service. Sometimes we do not see patrons unless there is something wrong with their Libby, and then they're marching in full of piss and vinegar that they got kicked out, or something going right, or books not loading. So we only see these patrons one time a year
Okay.
because they are just Libby. Office supplies and expenses. So this is all of our general office supplies, 454. That's pretty much staying the same. Custodial and housekeeping, paper products, cleaning supplies, ice melt, light bulbs, mouse traps.
Lost $1.
We lost $1, but that's okay. A lot of this is we pay for our own. So, especially a lot of my cleaning supplies, I have to use specific cleaning supplies because I'm working with young children. I can't use bleach in the children's room, unfortunately, so.
Yeah, you can. It's
Yeah.
fine. Just put it in your eyes. Don't
No.
let them slow it.
I've got too many babies that put stuff in their mouth right now. So building equipment and repairs and maintenance, so that's the electrical work, the plumbing for the boiler, parts needed for repairs, 909, like, see that number stays. And food services. So water for dispensers, we pay for our own water, we pay for our own dispenser. Prepackaged food for events, D&D, adult events, and so on and so forth. Teenagers will eat you out of house and home.
Mm-hmm.
So that one is sad to see cut, but there are grant opportunities, thank God for that, to feed the teenagers for D&D. Computer hardware. So this is the front desk, the director's office, the public computer, and the trustee Chromebook. They have to be updated every 5 years, especially CW Mars puts that on us, that it has to be updated to support Evergreen and all of our software that we use in the library, so 734. Library materials. So this is been level funded since 2023. Books, DVDs, audiobooks, everything. Everything that we buy for the library,
Went down.
went down.
Is this the one? There's one that you can't undo. Which one is it? Because you lose funding.
We're fine.
We're fine.
Okay, all right. Making sure.
This budget goes up by $14,486.
All right, because I remember that happened when.
16% increase over the prior
Okay,
year.
no, when Sandy was here, there was
Yeah,
something
There may
that we
be a
tried
few
to dip.
reductions,
and it was
that I've
bad.
made. I've cut it by $3,400, but
Okay,
Believe it or not, you know what the most expensive thing for us to buy is the large print books. And if we bought a little bit less than those, I think we'd be okay.
yeah, I just.
Well, if you have an aging population, those large print books go out like you wouldn't believe.
Okay.
Travel in state, so this is for our network meetings, our trainings, our library visit, and
You get $10?
we get $10.
Okay,
We get
I'm
$10.
going to spend it all at once.
Yes.
what this does is it actually leaves money in a line
Okay,
where they could transfer money into it if they had a purpose for it.
Okay.
They don't utilize it, but it's there
It's
in the
there.
event that they,
The conferences like the one I'm going to in June is all expenses paid and going down to Washington DC.
okay. That's fine, I'm not arguing. If
We
you,
go for those, the ones that
Yeah.
pay us to go.
yeah,
Dues and memberships, so that's the annual consortium membership with, CW Mars. That needs to stay the same, that is what we pay to belong to the CW Mars family. So that's all of our interlibrary, all the way out to Springfield, we get books from. Library programming, that's me.
ruh-roh.
So we cannot request municipal funds usually for this. We usually pay out of the donation account.
Okay.
She requested it anyways, and we got
It is
0.
happening. Okay.
But all of the crafts, all of the scholarships, all of the book clubs, the D&D, all of the story times, all of that is paid out of the donation account.
Okay.
and donations made to me by, like, I have an Amazon wish list, stuff like that. Staff training, $200, we're getting $50. But we really focus on the no-cost seminars. The NBLC and the IMLS, they do a really great job of providing free trainings. And like Ann and I go for like cataloging and things that are just primarily gardening.
Okay.
And that is, I'm not gonna read that because you guys all know we do the library, you
I
know.
want to read the whole thing.
Thank you.
Do you know Beaver like Travis?
Not-
Putting it out there.
So the budget goes from $90,000, 90,709 to, you know, as it stands now, 105, 195. That's a 16% increase
Yeah.
or a 14,000.
That's a lot.
$486 increase. It's a lot, but it's also, it's a tiny budget for
A library.
the population that you have and the communities that are served by it. You have basically the youngest of your citizens and some of your oldest, and you know, they rely on that library. You have a lot of trips.
Oh, yeah, no,
The
it's-
region supports it, not just the school district. You have a lot of visitors. It's a beautiful library. Person that donated that building to the town founded Clark's University. You know, it's an impressive place.
What year was it built?
81, something. Yeah.
It was established in the building is in the 18th. And that's when they moved the church, because the,
Thank you, Trish. Really want to thank, Chris as well. She's done a fantastic job, you know, whittling down this picture.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trish, really. Okay, I'm gonna pass it over to you, Sean, to decide what else do we need to go through in terms of this that you
No,
want.
look, it's getting late. What I would say is, I met with Peter today for about an hour, who stepped through the line. He had a lot of questions. If any of the board members have questions, please come in and, spend some time with me.
Okay.
We can go through the budget, we can get comfortable with it. I am gonna be making $200,000 worth of reductions. I hate to do that, but I have to present a balanced budget to you. We have to get this approved and, you know, presented, in the warrant. What I wanna just share is that it's been a lot of work. It's tiring, to sit and go through this in iteration after iteration. This isn't the first, punch at it, but you've got 550 lines that some of these lines could be even broken down further. There's still 20, 30, $40,000 lines that have the detail that if you break down, you'll start to see trends. And after a couple of budget cycles, you will become experts at just figuring out what these departments need. It's hard to kind of do it all in one budget cycle, but this begins
This is like a million
multi-year.
times better.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look, budgets, it's not rocket science. It's arithmetic. It's trying to get, you know, your departmental budgets programmed, for the needs. And yes, each one of these departmental budgets goes up by significant, you know, there's not one that's up by 5%. They're all up over that. But, we gotta lean into them and, you know, we gotta see what we can do to try to help them, get through. So,
I see a lot of wrapping down in your future.
yeah, there's some tough decisions that we have to make, but, certainly I appreciate the work and the time and attention the department heads have put into it.
I'd like to, before we move on, agree with you there. Appreciate everybody who's here. This we've never had before and it's incredible. And much appreciated. It's hours upon hours upon hours of work that you all have done. And that's not easy to be that detailed. My point is, for the board, I appreciate everything you're doing, because it's gonna sound unappreciative that now we have to turn it back to you because you gotta come up with $200,000 that are gonna be cut. So, and you have been very detailed explanations there, obviously, and this is not a criticism, but obviously doing your jobs. You saying, I need this. But where we are now, as you all know now, with the town, 200,000 cannot be needed someplace. So much for this, Sean, Christina, and the four of you for your presentation and the hours you put into it, because this is a lot of work. And unfortunately, we still have to come up with some.
Sharpen your pencils.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, with that in mind, where are we in the agenda that we can do? I mean, because it's.
I think you're at the
10
consent
o'clock
agenda.
tonight.
Yep.
I will originally.
This year for the rest of this.
Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
You're welcome.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye,
Trish.
Trish. Chief,
Yeah, two chiefs and a trap.
you got your vest on tonight, Chief?
I wasn't that concerned.
Well, I wasn't talking about that.
What the hell's that supposed to mean?
So I guess these appointments have to be done.
Yes, I mean, if you want to defer this, you can, but I think they're just ministerial.
Nope.
The grant application is just a public safety grant, standard. You know, if we get it, it'll come back to you for approval.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, all right. We're kind of going a little bit backwards, but that's all right. Now it's made in second. Are there any holds on any of these on the part of you guys?
Well, let me look at it.
Any questions?
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay,
No,
It's late.
I thought we were in a good spot. I apologize. I jumped the gun.
well, the rest of it we're gonna skip, but if we can. So we have a motion and second.
What's the police department public safety grant?
That is just a grant for additional funding for patrols, targeted patrols, DUI patrols. And the grant is actually in your packet. It's a municipal road safety MRS grant, help local police address community traffic safety needs. The grant agency, Department of Public Safety, requires the select board to actually authorize the department head to apply for the grant, because they've had a number of communities where they apply for the grant, and for whatever political reason,
They weren't allowed to get it.
they, the board members had an issue with accepting these grants.
What?
It's just, I'm trying to just give you the rationale for, it's a little unusual to actually come to a board and ask for permission to apply for a grant to take in state money, but the agency is requiring us to do it. And so I told the chief we'd put it on the consent agenda, and I would just ask the board to approve it.
Okay,
Okay.
We're asking your permission to do
Yes.
more work.
I know.
okay.
And get free money.
Get free money.
All right, once again, we have a motion made and second to accept the consent agenda as it is all in one. Do you have any other questions on this? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes, opposed? Abstain? Okay, consent agenda is passed.
We got all through the major business.
Can we pass on the
Yes,
TA
you can
report?
pass on my report. You have it. If you have questions, reach
Do
out.
we have any pressing old business?
Just
Okay.
budgets.
Unless, I'm just going, unless it's an emergency, I do not want to have any, matters not reasonably anticipated. I'd like to be able to skip over that unless it's an emergency.
Well,
Because I don't think we need to get something that we're gonna have to debate again.
The only matter I'm not anticipating is another meeting next week, right?
Well, that was my next thing. And then
Oh, okay.
we have to come, I'd like a reminder of the dates that we said we're gonna
It was
try to keep
Monday,
open.
Tuesday, and Friday. Because I have something Thursday and KP has something Wednesday.
And the date
And then he
being
leaves
today's,
Saturdays. We have to get
I
it.
leave on the 6th.
That's a Saturday,
One next week?
so where are we here?
the following.
That would make it the 11th, 12th. Monday, the 11th, Tuesday, the 12th,
And Friday.
and Friday, the 15th, right?
Yeah.
I would say Friday would give us the most amount of time to make the reductions and to prepare the warrant.
It
And
depends on when those guys can,
These are dates we had to keep open for the interviewing for the
that's
TA.
right, yeah.
yeah.
But if you're meeting on a Friday, maybe, we could.
To close the
close
warrant.
The warrant and
Yeah.
get it.
Oh, we can do it all the same day. I'm just saying that it was, the original reason for those 3 days was because of the
I know.
TA search committee. So
Yeah.
it depended on what they came.
Sure.
So are we gonna set a date now?
And when are you gonna be gone?
16th,
Saturday, the 16th,
Until when?
the following.
following Saturday.
Didn't the
That's what-
TA
that's almost
search
the end of the
committee
month,
meet
okay.
today?
Okay. So
And
we,
they have meetings this whole week.
They
Interviewing.
were meeting today and picking the top 5 candidates. They're
Yeah.
doing interviews this week, and then they're gonna narrow it down to 3 for you guys to interview next week.
well, if things, I'm just trying to make it so that we can get all of this before
Yeah.
Peter has to leave. Let's say hypothetically, if things aren't ready from the committee,
No, you just put in meetings for all 3.
yeah,
With
I'm
the
saying
same
it's
agenda.
one of these nights, let's take.
No, you put in all 3. You don't even skip one. You put an agenda on all 3 nights with the same agenda. And then you wait for them. And then you take off
And then
whatever
cancel them, can
Yeah,
cancel
you
them if they're
cancel the
not
ones
ready.
All right, okay.
that aren't
so
good. So that way.
The
we
items we
fully-
discussed then put on as an agenda for each of these nights.
Yeah.
And then knowing that we're gonna,
I mean, they might have them ready for Monday night.
Well, then he's gotta get ready for Monday night.
I have no idea, yeah.
Well, we gotta close the,
Yeah.
yeah,
We'll have to. We'll
We gotta close the warrant.
get back into it, whatever.
yeah.
How much
Well,
of
we're
this do you want
closing the
back?
warrant. You have
You can
to,
keep it. If you
Okay.
wanna study it, if you wanna give it to us, we'll recycle it.
Give you the rest of this stuff, okay?
Great.
Thank you for,
okay.
Christine.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, we do.
I'm making a
I'm getting to that, okay.
To close, to adjourn, sorry. Motion to.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.